Okay, so we're live. Hey, Arctic True Fox, good to see you. Um, Good to see everybody. Hey, Paula, how are you doing? How's Paula doing? Mustang 65's here. Good to see you, Mustang. Mino Dino's in here. Good to see Mino Dino. Heather's here. Good to see Heather. Hi, Heather. How are you? And Arctic True Fox is in here. Good to see Arctic True Fox. Arctic Fox. I don't know why I keep saying his name wrong. Jocelyn's in here somewhere. There's Jocelyn right there. Hey, Jocelyn, how are you? Good to see you. It's technically Arctic Fox, and I keep saying the wrong thing all the time. Anyways, good to see everybody. Going to get into a little bit of the true crime cases of the week this week. Also, some information I think that's going on in the Mara Murray case up here in New Hampshire. I got some footage that I took earlier today out there in Concord, plus some of the true crime cases of the week. But it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me play an intro and I'll try to be right back. A little bit unorganized tonight, but let's get this show on the road here. I hope everybody's doing well. I know there's a lot of storms going on right now in the country, so I may touch on that as well. But I'll be right back and we'll get going. Good to see everybody. Be right back. All right, so we are here. It is, what's today? It's Honeybee. Hey, Honeybee, good to see you. Honeybee's been doing some fantastic work. I've been trying to go over there and get as much caught up on her stuff as possible. Honeybee's amazing. Southern Gal's in here. Southern Gal, I hope you're good. It is, what's today? Today is Sunday. It's 1 o'clock. A little after 1, actually. 16th of March already. Holy shit. Just when you think it's, sorry, it's hard to tag everyone on my phone. Oh, that's all right. Good to see you anyways. Good to see everybody's alive. All right, let me hide my face here. Let's start there. Let's just do that first. Let's go here really quick. It's not as bad tonight as it was yesterday, I don't think. But we'll get time of the year. It's maybe a little bit early, but if you live, like I said last year and every year, if you live in what they call Tornado Alley, I'd be paying attention to some of the forecasts that happen across, especially the Midwest, South Midwest, so to speak. I don't know why they call it the Midwest, the middle part of the country, basically. This year is flying by pretty bad. But this time of the year, what happens pretty quickly is you have this, I don't know what they want to call it anymore, the Gulf. And you get these systems that just come across the United States. They're called low pressure systems, and they just kick up a lot of this circulation already. And then you have what they call the Gulf here that just basically provides a lot of energy. So this is providing a lot of warm, moist air. And when you get a circulation that comes across the country like this, out in front of the low pressure system or whatever, you're going to get, warm front, and then what happens is it circulates around, and then you get a cold front that basically sets up shop right in this area here. And it basically pushes east, northeast, and then eventually off to the coast. We'll get this probably later on, tomorrow night or Sunday. But the boundary line where this line sets up, where you have the cold air on one side, the warm air on one side and the cold air on the other side, you're going to get these pop-up storm systems. And right now it seems to be right in this area here. There's one, I was just checking earlier, there's one system right here, just due east of Alexander City here, where they seem to be having some sort of, but what happens at nighttime too is you have what they call a natural cold front, because it warms during the day and then at night it starts to cool down. And then you get, obviously, the days are starting to get longer, so the sun is starting to warm things up, and that's basically the fuel. So let's see here. So right this very second, here's your low here, and it's just, this is basically setting up a boundary right basically in this, what they call the tornado alley. This is perfect tornado alley. If you're from, I'd say, Minnesota all the way down, or Michigan all the way down, even parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, they'll be getting it tomorrow, Alabama. But this is where you're going to get these, what they call, they're basically supercells here that form in here. And anytime you get a comp link or any type of updraft here, you're going to kick up these tornadoes, and they've been pretty bad the past couple of days. So it's Dirty Diana. Hey, Dirty Diana, how are you? Good to see you. So anyways, that's that. I'll what people should do if they're in Tornado Alley between like February, end of January, end of February, you should probably have a safe location that you can get to. And I would definitely stock up on batteries, radios. Portable radios are good because you don't need a cell phone service for portable radio. And the best thing to do is have some sort of a spot in your house where you can go to that's surrounded by walls and has you're away from any exterior wall. That's the best thing to do. Other than that, sure, ask goodbye, because these storms are mean business, and you don't want to be in them. I definitely recommend getting a barometer, because they tend to help quite a bit when the pressure's falling. All right. Anyway, so let's get back to true crime. One person that I like to go to for my stuff is Jessica Fernandez. She does a really good job. I've been watching her recently. Renegade 12 is here. Good to see you. All right, so let's go to true crime. Ryan, y'all's good too. I try to give people a little bit of a shout out when they don't have a lot of followers, but she's really good. Fernandez is really good. She mainly touches on hurricanes and stuff like that, but tornadoes she does too. She's actually a weather person. I'm not. All right, so I'm going to go here. Let's do, what are we going to do first? I wanted to come on here and give some good news about the Maura Murray case, but I don't think I can. But apparently, I get a pop-up from, I think it was R&M Productions, and she had a notification about some sort of, let me pull this up here. On the Maura Murray case. Maura Murray is the case in New Hampshire here. She went missing back in 2004, and I've been covering this case religiously for the last, 21 years or so. I was just up there. I did some more footage of the accident site up there in Woodsville a couple weeks ago. Remember, I was up there, and I didn't know they took the tree down, but they did, the ribbon tree. But anyways, she went missing February 9th, 2004. basically crashed her car into a snowbank, and nobody's ever seen her again. So um, I do want to pull this up. Hold on a second. What did I just do that for? So this guy here. Um, Now I got this information from uh, what's his name? Brenner? Is that the guy's name? So let me share this here. Hold on a second. I'll do this one first. Um, I think that's his name, Brenner, Brian Brenner, or forget his name. But he came out with a story, and he's been kind of controversial over the years. Some say, um, but he's been talking about this guy right here. Let me share this. Um, so this guy here, Stephen Baldwin, he was arrested. This was done. I don't know what this is. Former Union County humane agent gets 15.5 years in prison for animal cruelty and other charges. Now I'm not 100% that this guy's connected in any way to Mara Murray, but this has been the latest buzz that I've been trying to. Okay, so this was updated March 14th, 2025. So apparently, according to who's been following this case for a while, this guy's fingerprint was found on a CD in Mara Murray's car. I don't know how true that is. I've been checking with my sources here in New Hampshire. I haven't seen anything from state police confirming this. I haven't seen anything on the FBI website. But this guy here, Stephen Baldwin, is real. And that's part of the idea that this guy Brennan came up with, that they found this guy's fingerprint in the car, and all of this stuff here checks out. He did get arrested in Ohio for animal abuse charges. So the former chief humane agent for the Union County Humane Society, Stephen Baldwin, I had to double check the spelling on that because that guy's an actor, was sentenced Friday to 15 and a half years in prison for bribery, animal cruelty, and other charges. Union County Court of Common Pleas records show that 44-year-old Stephen Baldwin was facing 53 counts total. This is all related to animal abuse. He was supposedly supposed to be, taking care of these animals, and he was they basically calling him a serial killer of animals. Back in 2020, interviewing the dog parents of Remington, also known as Remy, Angela and Litsa Kagekos said that they saved Remy from certain death, and this is a dog, in May of 2016 after he was deemed a dangerous dog. Weeks earlier, the couple had reached out to Baldwin, a well-known local advocate. He originally was set to work with 2 other dogs from the rescue, but then reportedly told the couple. So this is all checking out. So I looked into this here, and this checks out. So I'm just waiting. I don't know. I'm waiting to hear from anybody. There's nothing. Hey, Grandma Sherry, good to see you. You didn't take any gummies tonight? Oh, probably going to be up all week. Yeah, freaking abuser. So I'm going to try to find. Hold on a second. I'm going to try to find. Let me use this one here. I'm going to try to find the WMUR. PJ did Lighting the Way Home did a live on this the other day. She did a fantastic job, and I'm waiting for this. Hold on a second here. All right. I guess I'll try to play this really quickly here. I'm not going to play his stuff, but I'll try to play this. Wait 2 seconds here. I'll say, okay, so this was done. I'll play this one here. This was done about a month ago. I think we played this already, but sorry, my internet's not working all that great right this very second. Okay. So let me share this here. We'll play this here. Yeah, he's got 15 years. And they probably did that to try to see if they can get it's good to see Grandma Sherry in here. Good to see Dirty Diana in here. Southern Gal's awesome. Let's see here. Let's share this. So this is the latest. This was the latest. I think we played this the last time, but I just want to play it again because I think this mentions something about the fingerprint.
News 9 investigates on the search for Maura Murray. 20 years ago this week.
They just continue to pronounce her name wrong. It's just amazing. It's been 21 years and they still can't. And this is local news too. That's what's bizarre. Tomorrow.
The college student from Massachusetts crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, never to be seen again.
This afternoon, authorities releasing this new age progression photo of what Maura might look like today. The mystery surrounding her disappearance continues to be an
So one of the strange things about this case that there's a lot of strange things about this case. One of the witnesses, I think it was the lady, basically that lives right in that corner. The first thing she said was she saw somebody sitting in the passenger seat smoking a cigarette. And then she changed her statement and said that's not true. She saw what looked like to be Maura Murray in the car with a phone, her phone. So that's one of the reasons why I went up there last year to see if I could figure out if you could see pretty good because it's dark up there, and it's at night. You know, this happened at night, so I tried to see if you could actually see from that house inside the car and how good you can see that, but it's the conflicting statements from her whether or not she saw somebody else in the car or not. I don't think there was anybody else in the car, but that doesn't mean there wasn't. One other thing is that the local police officer and the school bus driver searched around the car to see if they could find footprints or stuff in the snow. That was suggested. There was no footprints or anything around us, so there was no trace of footprints. But I mean, how good did they really look? And how snowy was it up there at the time? I'm getting conflicting reports too of what was going on at the time. So, but they did check into that. I mean, the footprints, they would have seen a lot of footprints, I guess. But I'm just keeping that in mind. That whole statement from that lady in mind, because there might have been somebody else there. Who knows?
session for cyber sleuths and podcasters.
But as News 9 investigates, Amy Covino shows us, for the Murray family, not knowing what happened to Maura is a decades-long source of heartbreak and of frustration.
If anybody saw her, call us.
This poor guy, this guy here, Fred Murray, never met the guy, but I mean, he's been through 21 years of absolute freaking hell, from crazy YouTubers to just all out despicable human beings that cover some of these cases that have no business covering some of these cases. This poor guy is just trying to find his daughter and or find out what happened to his daughter at least. And I don't know, it's just this guy here. I don't know. It's just been such a sad thing for this guy and Julie too.
Maura's father, Fred Murray, in 2004. The tree and the blue ribbon are gone, but the sharp bend on Route 112 is unchanged. It's here Maura crashed her 1996 Saturn.
They always show this during the day. Like, there's plenty of, this corner is very, very deceptive. This corner here, they took all of these trees down, so there's no trees here anymore. The blue ribbon was right in here somewhere. But at night, this is a completely different animal. See all the water here in the street from, I don't know when this was taken, but usually what happens during the day is you get, some sunlight, some melting, and the snow kind of drifts into the road here and it gets wet. So when the sun goes down at night here, especially in February, this refreeze happens. So this corner gets pretty slick. Also, if you go up the road here a little bit ways, you end up going from Woodsville to Bath, New Hampshire. So it's not very far up the road here till you enter another town. But this corner here is could be a problem for navigation here, especially at night.
727 is the first call to police.
Like, it would be easy to get into this corner if you're going. I mean, you could probably take this at 40, 45 if you really had to, but at night it's a completely different animal. So at 40 miles an hour, you're probably going off the road here into the trees, because it's not, the distance here is very, very deceptive.
By a woman.
She said she was shaken up. I couldn't see any blood on her face. And she was shaking like this. I says, okay, I'm going to go call the police.
School bus driver Butch Atwood died in 2009.
There are people.
Honeybee is an amazing freaking person. I can't illustrate enough how good she is. She has great stuff. Her stuff is awesome. I mean, it's just very, very good stuff. Anybody in here? Arctic Fox is great. Southern Gal's awesome. Thank you, Southern Gal, for putting Honeybee's information in here. She's just amazing. I hope you're doing well, Heather. Hope you're good. Does anybody, if anybody wants a wrench, let me know.
People out there that they have no training, no background, no experience doing this type of investigation, and yet they think they do, and they bother people, they trespass on property.
Lewis Black is now working with the Murray family, bringing fresh eyes to the case.
So this was the barn here. This is where we were at. And then I turned around in here. But, what I was also trying to figure out whether or not, because the first thing you're going to do is if you get in an accident like that, you're probably going to try to find a phone, right? Like her phone probably didn't work up there in 2004 because the service probably would have been really shoddy. But I was wondering, if she's cold, if the next thing you're going to think about is how to get warm, because it's, February, it gets cold up here, especially when the sun goes down. So I wonder if she tried to slip into this barn here to get warm.
And decades of investigative experience, both as a police chief and now as a private investigator. The intense public interest is complicated for the family and for investigators.
That's what fuels us, is the love and support that we've received from so many people from all over the world.
Julie Murray is Maura's older sister by 2 years. She is her champion, navigating the rumor mill, media exposure, and pressing investigators to pursue leads. The family spokesperson launched a first-person podcast this week.
Who better to tell her story than me and the people that knew and loved her?
The Murray family admits to frustration over years with New Hampshire investigators, but says things have improved recently.
There are still regular tips being reported to the state police and attorney general hotlines. So it is a case that is getting regular attention, that's getting regular work on it.
Summer 2022, a large-scale search of the woods on both sides of Route 112.
Thank you guys for putting all of the channels in here. Paula's awesome. Paula has great stuff too. Arctic Fox is amazing. He does just fantastic work with the missing. I try to retweet and repost everything I possibly can. Looking for the Mara video. That's all I've been doing the last couple of days is trying to track down this information about the Stephen Baldwin guy. But I can't find anything from anybody. But if there's something going on, they're probably not going to tell us anyway. So
in Haverhill. 2021, another dead end. Bone fragments found at Loon Mountain determined. April 2019, a house close to the crash scene is searched. The concrete in the basement cracked open.
It doesn't mean much because they did the same thing to a case up in Maine a year ago where they had a dog hit in a cellar. I forget the name of the case. This is an older case, very, very older case, but the dogs hit in the cellar of this other case, and they went in and searched and didn't find anything. But then I think it was a couple of years later, they went in with penetrating radar stuff, and they found the body. So it doesn't mean that, I mean, sometimes these guys are off too. So what's interesting about this case too is the dogs that they brought up there hit on her scent, but then stopped somewhere. I think either, I'm pretty sure it was eastbound, and then they lost the trail. So
with jackhammers, another dead end.
I can tell you that no evidence was found in connection with that case.
This one hurts because I thought we finally had it.
News 9 Investigates obtained the most recent court filing from last year. It includes analysis.
So as I was saying before, I don't think she hit the tree. And apparently they're walking back from that. I don't think she hit the tree at all. I think she hit the snowbank. And I was kind of contemplating, that's why I went up there the last time to see, whether she was traveling east or west. Because her car, once she hit the snowbank, her car was actually turned around going the wrong way. So she was in the eastbound lane facing west. So that's kind of hard to do if you're going to hit the tree. Once you hit the tree, you're going to be in the tree. So when I went up there the last time, I pretty much disproved, that she was going west. She was definitely going east, and you can see right here from the car. But I was pretty sure that there was, if the snowbank's 2 or 3 feet tall, she's not hitting that tree.
From collision experts and photos not seen before of the car. The reports.
See, all that damage to that car is to basically the driver's side. There's no damage here to this side whatsoever. Everything is basically right in here. She basically hit the snowbank here, and that pushed and buckled the hood of the car and caused the air dam damage here. So, and then the airbag went off on impact. But this car was a piece of shit anyways. I mean, she literally had from all reports, she had some sort of a rag in the tailpipe because she was running on, I think, 3 cylinders here. This is a Saturn. She was told not to drive this car because it wasn't obviously working all that great. It's far from Amherst, Massachusetts to where she was going. That's a 2 to 3 hours. That takes a long time. And running on this car here, you never know if she was getting carbon monoxide fumes into the passenger hatch here. You never know.
The car. The report states it can't conclude if Mara was the only one in the vehicle. The analysis states the front end damage likely was not from a tree and can't determine what caused the windshield damage. The report concludes the crash happened at a low speed and Mara was likely not injured.
They haven't allowed even my family in recent years to view the car, which is now down.
Are you looking for one of the videos you did, Honey, or Honeybee? Her father told her not to do that prior to LE purposes. The rag in the tailpipe. This is a weird case. This is the Saturns were crap under the best conditions. I have people have Saturns that swear by them. Then I have other people that I used to be a huge GM fan years and years ago, but these days here you couldn't pay to buy one now. It's not going to happen. See all this damage here. You can tell it just she hit here, and this buckled. It doesn't take too much to ruin these cars. This is all plastic here, so but you can see how this buckled here. Obviously, the airbag probably deployed here. I guess what I'm saying with her, this whole case, is that she was going to a party. That's just my opinion. I mean, you don't call work and claim that you died in your family unless you're trying to get out of work, right? You probably had no more sick days left. So, when you call your work and saying, say somebody died in the family or somebody didn't die in the family, you're probably, I don't want to say I've done that before, but, calling out of work, that's a good excuse to go. And nothing against her. People have the right to party. I partied plenty in my life, but that's just my personal opinion, that she was heading to some sort of a fun vacation.
At State Police headquarters in Concord.
A 9-page inventory of items inside the locked black Saturn gives a snapshot of Maura's life at the time. College textbooks, a U2 cassette tape, sweatpants, shampoo, a travel toothbrush, a box of wine that a receipt shows she purchased the afternoon of her disappearance. Photographs and 2023 court documents highlight the wine and stains on the roof inside the car that an analyst notes is not blood. Julie says a rusty knife found on a property a mile from the crash was given to her father, and cadaver dogs hit on that same property. It's the only tangible evidence the family has ever received.
That just gives me pause.
Yeah, just got into another accident, and I locked down where that accident was, and I'm pretty sure she hit that guardrail pretty good because she just blew right through the stop sign. So, you never know if she had some sort of a concussion from that. I don't know. Get checked out. I don't know if they did a sobriety test on her. I just, she wasn't. In my opinion, she was like one of those party people, like all of us were back then. 2004. She was living a dream, but that's I'm not trying to belittle her. It's just that's what she was doing. If something nefarious happens, that's not her fault. It's just the way it is.
Put it that way. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't know what law enforcement knows. I don't know what I don't know. But that has always been something that I've flagged in my mind.
A vigil for the 20th anniversary.
They just don't, they up here, they don't investigate good at all. This is one of those cases where they botched the case right from the beginning. They didn't even bother looking for, I don't know, 48 hours. I think it was like 48 hours or so that they actually really started looking. They didn't do much at all. Have they searched that property? I don't know what they've searched. I know they've searched the school bus driver's house, I think. They haven't done much, I don't think, on this case here. But I don't think that, I don't think it's law enforcement's fault. I just think that, they've had probably so many different avenues to go down in this case. You have no body, no person, no crime, no nothing. I mean, it's one of those cases that's really difficult to solve because maybe she just took off. I mean, it's hard to prove there's a crime when you don't have any real crime. It's like the wildest thing was that they searched the woods again last year in the summer when everything was overgrown. Yeah, and I heard that they found some sort of a knife that the father gave to her that had some sort of DNA on it that linked back to Mara's father. So they know that knife at some point goes back to her. So that is definitely hers. Bring back Seabreeze facial toner. And oxy pads. She was ready. She was really ready to get. I mean, she was ready to get hammered. She had a carload of alcohol, literally.
Is being held tomorrow night at 7:30 at the Mountain Lakes Lodge in Woodsville. News 9 has learned an assistant attorney general will attend, something that's never happened before.
So this was done a month ago. This is the latest on that. I just wanted to go over this because anytime there's any type of noise going on with this
Public is invited.
here,
Amy Cavino, News 9 investigates.
it just sucks for the family. It's just one of those things. I remember being a kid in my barber smoking and lighting cigarettes while spraying my hand. Oh, the things we used to do when we were kids. Maya shopped at Costco, Sam's Club. She got 3 packs of Super Mega Hold hairspray every month for me. Yep. Yeah, hairspray was big back then. I remember parachute pants. It's a horrible case. It's like you're saying, I started off in this horrible business we call true crime around here, investigating the Mindy West case, and then it's strange how the cases snowball into other cases. So you end up branching out into this other case, and then it turns into this other case. And the case that Southern Gal was covering very good the other night with Shirley, what's her face? Shirley, now I can't remember it. I was just out there. To Old Turnpike Road there in Concord. And I've been trying to link that case with the Connecticut River Valley case. But I used to love my Velcro pants. Yeah. Parachute pants. I remember those. I'm from the days of Dippity Doo. Dave Hammer. That's fucking classic. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Good to see you. I just noticed you being in here. All right, so I'll keep an eye on this. Like I said, I don't know. I'm going to try to get some more information from, what I can get information from, but there doesn't seem to be a lot going on that I'm aware of. But it's just this guy, Brenner, I think his name's Brenner anyways. It's the jury's out on him. Okay, so I want to do this here because I wanted to do this last week. Hold on a second here. This was 1 year ago. I don't want that one. Hold on a second. About the Kansas City. I just had it. Hold on. Sorry. I guess I could just type it in here. Hold on a second. Okay, so this was done 9 days ago, 6 days ago. Let's just do this one since it's 2 minutes. All right, and I'm not going to stay too long on this case, but I wanted to. Shirley McBride, yes, that's her name. I was just out there tonight. That's why I'm so late tonight. So let me share this here. So I've been following this here too. Remember last year, these Kansas City fans were unalived or got unalived. The cause of death was revealed for the 3 Kansas City Chief fans who were unalived in the backyard of a home in 2024. The guys died from fentanyl and cocaine combination. Probably can't say that. Drugs, toxicity, according to the prosecutors. And I think they've got brought charges on, 2 people. There we go.
Criminal charges in the mysterious 2024 deaths of 3 Kansas City Chiefs fans.
3 men are dead because of the dangers of street drugs.
For instance, high school Ricky Johnson.
Yeah, no, and I don't. That's why I haven't. That's why I haven't. I don't think. I don't trust anybody either like that, because apparently they've had issues with the From what I know, from what I've heard, they've had issues with the Murray family. With him. Do I have a membership? Hey, buddy, it's Charles. Charles is here. But I did look up the guy, so that checks out. So I'm just waiting to hear about the fingerprint. And I know I heard that on the news channel there, WMUR, at some point about the fingerprint. So,
David Harrington and Clayton McGinney were found dead 2 days after gathering to watch the Chiefs play in the backyard of a home rented by a fourth friend, Jordan Willis. Prosecutors now revealing their causes of death.
Mr. McGee, Mr. Harrington, and Mr. Johnson all died of fentanyl and cocaine combined toxicity.
Tonight, Willis and the man police say confessed to selling him cocaine. Ivory Carson are each charged with 3 counts of involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of delivery of a controlled substance. Inside Willis's home, police say they found 1 bag of cocaine with Willis's DNA and 1 bag of fentanyl with Carson's DNA on it. According to court documents, witnesses told police they saw the victims consuming alcohol and marijuana, and text messages show the men agreed to be supplied with cocaine.
This is a message to those that are bringing fentanyl into our communities, providing it to people, harming our community, that you will be held accountable, you will be arrested, and you will be charged.
Willis's attorney says his client plans to plead not guilty.
He's told me since they were, he didn't have any part in purchasing or distributing drugs to anyone that day.
Attorneys for Carson could not immediately be reached for comment.
no, I'm not monetized at all. Charles is here. Me and Charles have been going back and forth with the Mara Murray stuff too. Though I don't have memberships, probably won't ever. We Are the World. Why am I the person that doesn't miss the 80s? Jordan Jude? Charging Jordan Jude. Yeah, this guy here. I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna get these guys on. I mean, if he provided the trucks, yeah. I mean, it's
partial closure. Yeah, someone's being held responsible, which was what my family wanted all along.
McGinney's family relieved charges have finally been brought.
Now let's hope that the prosecutors can have a super solid case so that they spend time in prison. They need to go to jail.
And each,
I mean, what are they gonna? What are they? I think it's involuntary manslaughter, something like that. I think.
charge that Jordan Willis and Ivory Carson faces carries a maximum of 10 years in prison. And Willis's attorney told us his client maintains his innocence and anticipates.
Yeah, 10 years. I mean, it's prison time, but it's not like you know, we can't be friends anymore. I spent most of the 80s pretty much drunk, so drunk and you know, very, very high. They say he was a chem PhD and trying to connect it. I don't know. So that 10 years probably.
Anticipates that this will go to a jury trial. Ellison?
Marquise Francis, thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and.
Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to go to, hold on a second here. I do want to go, let's check this out first, and then I want to go to the case in Connecticut here. So we're going to go to some of the damage from the storms. Hold on a second. That's what made the 80s awesome. Yeah. Yeah, the POT was so much better in the 80s. That's what I think. So this was done a few hours ago. I've been following the weather too, because that's what I do. Severe storms are sweeping across the U.S., leaving devastation in their wake. At least 26 people have lost. I think it's up to 32 now, actually. This was bad last night. Last night, I think. Friday night. Early Saturday morning.
Oh my God! We are in a tornado.
Severe storms are
ramping up across the United States tonight, and some have already turned
I
deadly.
tried
So
everything in the
far, at
90s.
least 26 deaths have been reported in at least 4 different states, with dangerous whipping winds turning into tornadoes.
I'm just glad everybody in here is okay because it's I don't know exactly where everybody lives, but if you live anywhere in Tornado Alley this year here, especially this year, I would definitely pay attention because it's probably not going to get a lot of warnings. So this is Dawson City, Texas, Dawson County. I mean, sorry. This is all over the place here, Missouri.
Then quickly spread wildfires and even creating.
I think there are a couple in Indiana earlier this morning, yesterday morning. These storms here mean business.
Dust Bowl-like conditions. In the Deep South, a rare level 5 out of 5 severe weather risk issued today by the National Weather Service, with tornadoes already spotted in Louisiana and then now heading east. And in Texas and Oklahoma, high winds not only spreading dust, but also wildfires with more than 170,000 acres burned. This weather expanding the dangerous conditions we already saw last night. Take a look at this in St. Louis. A plane taking off as severe storms and even tornadoes reach that area. We have team coverage tracking this weather threat tonight with News Nation's Xavier Walton in Texas and Max Dieknight in Missouri. But let's begin first with News Nation's Xavier Walton. Xavier, several states are still within the storm's path.
Hey, Alex. Yeah, officials at this point saying remain alert, remain vigilant because the destruction is far from over. It's here. Oh, my God.
This weekend, a triple threat of deadly severe weather. Millions of Americans bracing for strong winds and the potential tornado threat.
Horrible.
In Kansas, Highway Patrol, no match for Mother Nature, and this dangerous.
Arkansas get hit too. You guys get hit too. The Derp Squad is here. Arkansas got hit last night too. Yeah, it's been warmer than normal. I think that's why. A friend of mine's, a friend of my son smoked some weed. We didn't know. K2. He went into a psychotic state and diagnosed with. Oh, that's awful. That's awful, Jocelyn. That's terrible. That's one of the other reasons why I don't do that anymore. You had 3 fatalities in Arkansas. Yeah, we used to call it Vermont red-haired sense around here. It was really good stuff. You buy what they call a dime bag, which is like you get, I think, 10 JOINTSs out of those. It was really good stuff. All right, let's go back to this here. This is in Kansas here. Something tells me we're not in Kansas anymore.
Dangerous dust storm. In Oklahoma, deer caught on camera fleeing these massive flames as crews try to get it under control. The winds fueling fires, burning down homes as people watch their memories go up in
This is gonna suck. Look at this.
flames.
Today is my baby boy's first birthday. Birthday party is scheduled for tomorrow in that home that is currently on fire.
There's a tornado right there. Meantime, other parts of the country concerned with the massive tornado outbreak heading east. Look at all that debris.
We are in a tornado.
Within a dozen people dead because of the severe weather,
Look at this. Unbelievable.
authorities are worried more people are in harm's way. The Mississippi Valley and Deep South in the storm's path.
If you're building a designated tornado shelter or a safe place, you want to be there. You don't necessarily have to evacuate, but you want to know where your safe location is.
And the sun started to set here in Texas, already on the East Coast. But Alex, here's the thing, that threat not giving way, officials saying remain vigilant. And here
Oh, it was so good. The stuff was so great. It was problem was we never had any papers. So we used to just get very, very creative with that's right. Back in those days, only ever bought drugs from one person's side. Yeah, right. That's the best way to do it. This here, this is awful. This is, I mean, terrible.
Here's the other thing. The threat still there on Sunday as well, albeit not as severe, Alex.
Yeah, we'll have to watch on that for tomorrow's newscast.
Most of this stuff should be by Arkansas and stuff like this. Will be moving east today. So places like Western North Carolina, South Carolina, stuff like that. And then when it gets here, it'll be all rain.
Xavier Walton live from Dallas. Thank you. Let's move to Missouri now. We're also learning of extensive damage there, where at least 12 people are dead after several tornadoes touched down. News Nation's Max Dieknight joins us live in eastern Missouri. Max, some of the damage that you're seeing there is absolutely stunning.
Alex, it is stunning. It looks almost like a war zone here. Let's show you right behind us. Okay, this is a massive tree that came down in Kevin Fee's backyard. He said this is a 250-year-old tree, barely missing a water management facility right behind it. You can see the water tower off in the distance. 6 tornadoes touched down here in Missouri, picking up this tree. This debris is from...
What? I'm from Miami and I lived there when the guy ate the homeless dude's face. That's awful. That's why do people always mess with the homeless? Like you watch any like true crime, like Forensic Files and stuff like that. I was picking on the homeless. Surprisingly, my guy is still in business. Last I heard, that's awesome. There's so many stories going on right now in the next story I'm going to go to is just sheer out of Bizarro world.
From Kevin's shed. And if you walk out into the street here, right by us here, you can see off in the distance, there is a transformer that one of these tornadoes split in half, knocking out the power all up and down the street here. If you look across the street, you can see downed power lines, a common theme here in Franklin County, just west of St. Louis. And look across the way here. You can see another massive tree down on somebody's roof. We want to also show you some video that we shot with a drone earlier today here in Villa Ridge, Missouri, here in Franklin.
It's the Burger King right here.
County. Again, this is an area that is very familiar with tornadoes touching down, a hot spot for tornadoes. This is really stunning, though. This is unusual. This video you're seeing is from a Burger King and a gas station. 13 people were trapped inside of that restaurant last night. We are happy to report, confirmed from authorities, they were able to get all 13 of those people out safely. None of them were injured. While there are about a dozen people that were killed here in Missouri last night, we're thankful to report that at least here in Franklin County, there are.
This is the best chat. That's why I try to keep up with the chat, because these people, you guys are so awesome. We had a wind, had to get my trash can out of the road to put it in the shed. Yeah, that's got to suck. Here's the Mara Murray video you have to pay on YouTube. Thank you, Honeybee. $1.99. Thanks, Honeybee.
As of this point, no reports of deaths here in the county. But as you can see, still plenty of cleanup underway just west of the St. Louis region. It looks like one of those 6 tornadoes touched down right here in Kevin Fee's backyard, causing a ton of damage in this region. Back to you.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I just wanted to play that, but I'm pretty sure people know what's going on there. All right, so this story here now that we're going to go to, I know that Gisela's been covering this here, but this is just straight out of Compton here. This stuff is just so apparently this guy here, I don't know if you guys have heard about this here, but down in Waterbury, Connecticut, this guy here was being held captive in his house by his parents for 20 years. I don't know how this can happen. I just don't. I don't get it. I don't understand these days here how something like this can happen. So apparently, a man was found emaciated inside a home in Waterbury, Connecticut, telling police he was locked in a room for decades, like tens of years. His stepmother, which is this person right here, was in court Thursday. She posted bond, so she basically is out on bond. Apparently, the father got unalive last year. So the stepmom's been basically, this guy was 36? And he weighed about 69 pounds. He was literally being starved to death, and doesn't seem like anybody cared. It's just one of the most bizarre cases I've ever heard in my entire life. This is just horrible. So here's this here, and I found the home here on the map, so I'll pull that up too. This is just you just can't make stuff up. And she's got a lawyer.
Thanks so much for joining us here for the news at 5. I'm Keisha Grant.
And I'm Mike Heidick. The big story continues. You heard right. Kimberly Sullivan is out on bond tonight, walking free after her hearing earlier today.
While the judge is allowing her to go home, there are some conditions to her release.
We're bringing you live team coverage tonight of the shocking case. We start with NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts with more on what happened in court. Amanda.
You just can't make this up. 68 pounds. My dog weighs more than 68 pounds. I mean, this is a grown man. He basically was living in a basically smaller than a jail cell size room, and he literally had to light his room on fire to get help the other day. I've been in a tornado with soft by hail. Sucks. Hail is awful. True crime wise, Miami had it easy. Northwest, I missed some of this.
Yeah, Mike, Keisha, Kimberly Sullivan posted bond this afternoon at about 1:45 here at Waterbury Superior Court, posting 10% of her $300,000 bond. State prosecutors tried to get her under 24/7 home confinement. The judge ultimately denied that, instead putting her under a very strict supervision. All this while the investigation into how this could have possibly happened is just beginning. A welcome sign on the front door to an alleged house of horrors.
33 years of law enforcement. This is the worst treatment of humanity that I've ever witnessed.
The boarded up home on Blake Street in Waterbury is where a now 32-year-old says he was held captive by his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, for 20 years.
Always upstairs on the second floor.
So this is basically almost like the Princess in the Tower case, where I don't know if you guys follow that. I've been trying to do that too. But everybody saw this kid in the house. He was going to school, literally stealing kids' food because he didn't have any food. This was back a long time ago. This is when he was in school. And then nobody saw him again for a while. And then they just used to walk by the house and how does this happen? This is insane. Nobody said anything, right? Hey, remember that kid that used to go to school? It's just, I don't know how this happens, and I'm pretty sure they're going to hush this up, but this case here is just weird. This is just by your own family. It's bizarre.
Window, and he always seemed like he was like trapped there.
First responders called the home last month.
Nobody ever called anybody. How come nobody called anybody? Like, good Lord.
After investigators say the victim set a fire in his 8x9 room using lighter, hand sanitizer, and paper because he wanted his freedom, according to court documents. They reported the door to the room having multiple locks on the outside, and when found...
So this house is on a corner here. I'll pull that up in a minute because I found it. Waterbury, Connecticut's an awesome town. You just don't ever hear anything out of this area here when it comes to stuff like this. Very affluent neighborhoods. Pretty sure they get their problems, but you just don't hear anything from Waterbury, Connecticut at all, ever, especially like this.
The victim, according to court documents, was extremely emaciated. His hair was matted and unkempt. He was very dirty, and his teeth all appear to be rotten.
This victim, 31 years old, was 5'9", 68 pounds. He was in the stages of dying.
He told police he recalled drinking water from the toilet due to the fact that he was only getting about 2 cups of water per day and was pulled out of school in the 4th grade as an 11-year-old because DCF was called after he'd steal others' food and sometimes eat food out of the garbage.
We knew it. We reported it. Not a damn thing was done. That
they literally need to just start over with DCF. They just need to go in there and just get rid of everybody and just start over, because it's just I shouldn't say that, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good people that work there, a lot of good, probably not the easiest job in the world to have, but this system here is broken. How does this happen? This is like, what did they not see?
That's the tragedy of the whole thing.
Waterbury's chief says they have no record of that complaint. Police did make a welfare check in 2005 at the request of DCF.
Officers went to the house. The house was clean. It was lived in. They spoke to the victim at that point in time, and there were no cause for any alarm.
Sullivan is now facing assault and kidnapping charges. Bond on Thursday.
100%, this person's probably going to claim some sort of insanity.
The judge ordering her to be under intense probation supervision. Her attorney maintaining her innocence, pinning the blame on her late husband, who died last year and was wheelchair bound.
Was the biological son of her now deceased husband. She is the stepmother. And so this father did dictate everything as the upbringing.
5'9", is 5'9", and 100. What did he say? 68 pounds. Unbelievable. You can't make this up. This is like, how does this happen in today's society? It just
and everything else.
Missing school. He missed school for the entirety of basically his life, and nobody called anybody. I get, my kids are out of school for 3 days, and we get like, you guys are going to be going to jail if you don't send your kids to school. Like, how does this happen?
Now, the Department of Children.
This is the DCF right here. We are shocked and saddened for the victim and at the unspeakable conditions he endured as a result. This is bullshit. This is horrible.
And families did release a statement this afternoon saying, "We are shocked and saddened for the victim and at the unspeakable conditions he endured. As a result,
it's not our fault. It's basically what it says.
DCF has looked extensively at our current and historical databases and to date have been unable to locate any records pertaining to this family, nor any records connected to the name of others who have indicated they made reports to our department." Now, as for Sullivan, she's due back here in court on March 26th. Live in Waterbury, Amanda Pitts, NBC Connecticut News. Mike and Keisha.
Amanda Pitts with the very latest. We continue our live team coverage now with NBC Connecticut's Matt Austin.
Is that the same guy as the hash slinging slasher? I've been trying to download that from SpongeBob for these lives here. There's nothing like the hash slinging slasher. It's so funny. The episode is so funny.
Been hearing from the community about the case. Matt, how are they reacting?
Yeah, this is a real heartbreaking case for so many in this community, including for some longtime officers here. Now, some are wondering if the man had been spotted potentially over recent years.
Finding out that someone was allegedly held captive in this house in Waterbury for about 2 decades was a shock to a next-door neighbor who has lived here for 10 years.
To know I was right by here this whole time, and he was going through that suffering. It's heartbreaking.
How does nobody see this kid in the neighborhood, right at school, with his parents? Like, they just locked this kid in his room for 10 years, 20 years. I don't understand how this, And the funny thing, the strange thing is there was other people. He had siblings too. So
I hope he'll be okay.
Zephyr Guanera tells us years ago a family member planned outside potentially spotted the alleged victim, who might have looked like a kid.
She was just a 10-year-old child on the swing, doing what kids do. Looked up in the window, saw a little child. She said had a baseball cap on. He waved to her. She waved to him, and that was it. He walked away, and she never saw him again.
At this point, the now 32-year-old's name has not yet been released or where he's recovering. The mayor has asked people to respect his privacy.
It's truly a horrifying, and it's beyond comprehension what occurred here. The young man's unimaginable suffering over the course of 2 decades is just a
This one was done. When was it? This was done a couple days ago. What's today? The 15th, 16th? Yeah, 3 days ago. So,
reminder of the darkness that does exist in our world.
This case has stunned even veteran officers. We're told investigators collected and brought him items like clothing and books as he begins his recovery.
Our plan is to continue to support him. He's going to need.
I thought I gave Charles a wrench. It's lighting their way home. Good to see you. Good to see you lighting the way home. You don't have a wrench, Charles? How do you not have a wrench? I thought I gave you a wrench. Thank you, Southern Gal. Good to see PJ in here. Always good to see PJ. I just did the Mara Murray stuff, but I haven't been able to find anything on that.
Need a lot of support as he travels through this and tries to figure out how to navigate what has occurred and
All right, hold on,
what the future holds for him.
Now, that next door neighbor we heard from says he's not certain that he ever saw the man, but he does wonder if that's who was outside doing chores sometimes. Live in Waterbury, Matt Austin, NBC Connecticut News. Keisha, back to you.
All right, hold on a second. Let me do this here. Where are you? Right there. All right, so we got Charles a wrench here, I think. Let me know if that worked. All right, so we'll do this one here next. Hold on a second here. This one was done a day ago, so this might be the latest. So hold on here. Let me share this. Thank you, Southern Gal, for putting PJs in here. Well, not putting PJs in here, but putting letting their way home in here. She's got a great channel too. She's all right. So this is the one here. All right, so let's go here. This is more on this here. Man, he was held captive for decades. This was a day ago. Stepmom in the decades. We take a look at everything we know. Okay, there we go.
Wednesday, March 12th, Waterbury police arrested 56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan after a nearly month-long investigation. Police say they began looking into her after a fire in her Blake Street home in mid.
I just don't understand how this happens. This is just weird. Wait, he has a wrench now. Okay. I don't think it'll let me give somebody a wrench twice anyways.
February. According to investigators, Sullivan's 32-year-old stepson told firefighters he set the fire on purpose because he, quote, wanted his freedom. He said he was held captive since he was 11 years old. The day after Sullivan's arrest, police held a news conference to share what they learned about this case. Fox 61's Kayla Cade has that story.
The Waterbury mayor and the chief of police both spoke at today's press conference, and they can both agree that this is a horrifying situation. And this man now has mental and health issues he has to heal from.
Man's unimaginable suffering over the course of 2 decades is just a reminder of the darkness that does exist in our world. Our hearts and our prayers go out to him.
A show of support from Mayor Paul Penarowski Jr. as he talked about the case of a 32-year-old man held in captivity. That man told police he was trapped in a house on Blake Street.
So hold on 1 second. Yeah, he was held captive 68 years. I'm sorry, all those years, 68 pounds. And that's insane. It's just, I don't understand how this is going to happen. What am I doing? Hold on, let me stop sharing this for a second. I want to go. right here. This is the house here. Right here. Looks a little different than this because this was done in 2023. So just picture boards up here in the windows. There's the and this was taken in the looks like October. So this is a little different than it would look now. And this is on a corner here. So this is Blake Street here. I don't know what this street is, but this is but still, I don't know how somebody can just go missing like this and not have anybody concerned. I mean, this is just a weird case. It's bizarre. Right, so let me share. Go back here. Right.
Where his stepmother, Kimberly Sullivan, kept him locked up in a room. Police found out about this when firefighters responded to a fire at their house on February 17th. They said the stepson told firefighters he set the fire on purpose so he can gain freedom. Police noticed the state of the man's body: rotten teeth, dirty, and extremely emaciated.
Here's an adult that was 5'9" and 68 pounds.
So he's 32 years old, 5'9", and he only weighed 68 pounds. That's definitely malnourished. That's I don't know how he's still alive. Honestly, I don't.
There's some apparent orthopedic issues.
Who does this? Who does this stuff?
The room was very small.
He was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. Police Chief Fernando Spagnolo said officers launched an investigation and they arrested Sullivan on Wednesday. In the arrest warrant, the man told police there was a lock on the outside of his bedroom door.
That room did have exterior locks on it and a number of different styles of exterior locks, as was explained during an interview with the victim throughout the years. It appeared that the locks.
What's going on with Charles here? Unmedicated severe mental issues. My nephew went missing for almost a week very recently. Oh, that sucks. Cop thought he jumped off the Edison Bridge. Oh my God, that's terrible. What the hell, man? Oh, that's terrible. This morning he asked me if I ever died. Oh my God. That's awful. Command hallucinations are super rare. That's terrible.
Increased in security levels as time progressed.
Spagnolo said this was a very controlling situation.
Information was very guarded on what was released and when he was able to see other members of the family and other members of the community.
The man said he couldn't find other ways to get help, such as by getting someone's attention through the window.
He was fearful that.
Can't you just roll the window up and say help? I mean, I don't know. This whole case is bizarre. I mean, he's 32, right? Or even at 28 or 26. I would have jumped out the window.
That if he broke that storm window or tried to open it up, that there would be some retaliation.
The police report shows how he would drink from the toilet to stay hydrated. And it says he was starved and was forced to find food elsewhere, like school. Because of this, the Department of Children and Families were called to the home twice. The man told police he was forced to lie about his true living conditions. Police.
I don't know. He was healthy enough to light his room on fire. So difficult to deal with someone with a diagnosis of that sort. Very hard to keep that medicated and stable. Yeah. Yeah, we're all thinking about you, buddy. She's kept him since he was freaking 3 years old. Yep. Yeah, that's awful.
said DCF called them to do welfare checks in the past. Spagnuolo recalled one from 2005.
Officers went to the house. The house was clean. It was lived in. They spoke to the victim at that point in time, and there were no cause for any alarm or any conditions that existed that would have led officers.
So like 2005, that like, don't you go back? Like I would have, that's so weird. Like why wouldn't they just get in touch with the school and the school say, yeah, he hasn't been in school for 14 years. You know, like what is going on? This is so weird.
To believe anything.
Because they don't mess around these days with truancy. You know, if your kid's a truant for, you know, if your kids miss a specific amount of time in school, you get a phone call or you're going to get a letter or something like that. They don't mess around with that shit anymore. Not around here anyways. So I'm surprised. This just doesn't make any sense to me.
A normal childhood and a normal family existence was occurring.
Police were called back in April, this time by the family who wanted to file a harassment complaint against the members of the school district.
Saying that they were continuously reporting them to DCF and felt that they were trying to get the family in trouble and have the family investigated. We have no further information about where that went other than there was no proof provided by the family that there was any type of harassment that was occurring.
The man told investigators he was pulled from school in the fourth.
Put me on that list too, Heather. My parents should have been in jail if that's the case. Yeah, it's a serious thing. Like we get my daughter's always sick, so she's home. You know, more than probably other children, but we get letters like, and it goes on the report card too. So my son missed like 10 days over the school year, and I got a visit from school. Yeah, I mean they don't take this. I mean over here, especially, this kid missed school for like 16 years. I mean, how does that happen? And the parents, it's not like the parents moved; they were living right there. This is horrible.
Grade because of DCF. Mayor Penner.
And I think he had a couple of siblings too. So I don't. They had moved out obviously, but you know. The father too is guilty of this shit too. It's not just the stepmother, but the father, who obviously died last year, but he was confined to a wheelchair, but he's just as guilty. I mean, it's a strange case. Look at all these houses on this road. Nobody said anything. It's just bizarre.
He said city leaders will make sure the systems are working in the future.
Do the checks.
Yeah, bullshit. That's bullshit.
To make sure that teachers, and administrators are looking out for children, notice some of the telltale signs.
Sullivan will face a judge March 26. In Waterbury, Kayla Cade, Fox 61.
Yeah, they really. I mean, New Hampshire is one of those states where they don't. I don't want to say they're better than anything else, but because they really dropped the ball in Harmony's case too. But I mean, I guess the stepmom threatened the family. Just the neighbors, because obviously this guy had some sort of friends, right? That just, I could see if they moved, they could see moving vans in and out with so they moved. But the parents are still living there. Where's the kid? Being homeschooled and never comes out. That's just like weird.
Thank you, Kayla. News of Sullivan's arrest and the story her stepson shared with firefighters took neighbors by surprise. Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot spoke to some of those neighbors who said they never knew a boy lived there.
Neighbors in Waterbury were stunned to hear a man told police last month he was held captive at his own home on Blake Street in Waterbury.
What the hell is going on? Who's got a cut? My hand is feeling warm and hurting. Shake my head. I just found out what SMH means the other day, too. It is really red, too. Is it really red? Yeah, I blame the dad, too, Dirty Dinah. I just do. I mean, it's just one of these cases that you just can't make this stuff up.
I never in a million years would have thought that was happening across the street from me.
It's hurting me, just to see that little boy, just there.
He wasn't a little boy anymore. He's 32 years old.
And being hurt. God knows what they did to him,
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
They didn't do anything at all.
Paula DePina says she used to live next door to the home where police say the man was held captive. She says she would see him in the windows and always thought something was off.
Windows, this is weird. How do these windows get broken out?
He was always upstairs on the second floor on the window, like there, like looking like a little ghost. Like he was pale, like white. And then I'm like, I don't know why maybe he doesn't like to come out. But I never thought anything was wrong.
DePina about the allegations, she would have called 911 sooner. Kimberly Sullivan, the man's step.
Fine. Throw some whiskey on it, buddy. Puffed up next to the tear and kind of purple. They say he let the boy out when the stepmom was gone. Yeah, I mean, that could be true too. I mean, if the father was in a wheelchair, then he probably couldn't have done anything either. I don't know. It's just this whole thing is just. I can't believe the state didn't come in here and barge through these freaking doors, right? Like that's.
Stepmother was arrested Wednesday on a number of charges.
Wait a minute, I didn't see that. Hold on a second. I didn't see that garage. So there's a garage there too. Where did I see that? There's homes right behind this house.
Arrested Wednesday on a number of charges, including kidnapping in the second degree and cruelty to persons. Her attorney, Ioannis Kaloidis, urges people not to jump to conclusions despite the allegations.
All we have right now are allegations. And yes, sometimes allegations look bad, but that's why we have a process. And that's why we have a defense. And we intend to mount one in this case. And we intend to push back on all the allegations.
Well, see, this is what you do. You pour it on your hand and then you drink it. It's the best story. People say court documents are out. I want to find it. Yeah, me too. I'll warn you, though, it's not the only case I'm linked to. A lot of cases, brother. A lot of cases
that have been made against her.
According to the arrest warrant for Sullivan, the man details he was held captive, starved, and abused for the past 20 years. He told police investigators he was so hungry he would sometimes eat food out of the garbage at school. The warrant also details when he was a child, he was taken out of school after 2 DCF visits. He says a lock was put on his outside bedroom door. The warrant also details when he was a child, he was taken out of school after 2 DCF visits. He says a lock was put on his outside bedroom door. He
was taken out of school after 2 DCF visits. Why?
Little to no sleep and went hungry, quote, all day, every day, my entire life. Shay Baker, his current next door neighbor, remembers seeing him years ago.
I was just in the backyard playing and I looked up and saw Ubby and I waved at him. He smiled and waved back, and I hadn't seen him in the house or anywhere around since. So I just figured, like, was family visiting? Is it somebody that I made up? There was just no sign of him being there outside of that day.
Neighbors say they wish they could have done something sooner.
I've been out here how many times with the dogs cutting grass. If he would have just tapped on the window and said, "Help me," I could have helped him.
Thanks, Kay. Kimberly Sullivan appeared in court on.
Michelle C is here. Where's Michelle C? Good to see you, Michelle. Very, very good to see you. Hope everybody's well. Hope you're well. So Amazon has virtual help for like $30 a visit. Stop acting out of character. This case reminds me of that missing kid that never left his house. Yeah, I remember there was a case a while back. I forget where it was, where the whole family was treated like that. But I just don't understand how nobody. I mean, nobody got called. Nobody came into this house and noticed this.
On March 12th and was released on bond the following day. She and her attorney maintain her innocence and expect the case to go to trial. The case could be complicated, though, so Fox 2's Keith McGilvery sat down with attorney Ray Hassett to discuss how the legal system might handle the case.
You and I spoke on the phone yesterday, went through this court paperwork together. The details here are out of a horror movie. I should say that they are allegations, But when you read through this, what was your gut reaction?
So my gut reaction was the details are horrific. It's an 11-page warrant. I think there may be some additional investigation that needs to be done, and we can talk a little bit about that. But I think for the most part, you don't see these types of cases in Connecticut involving younger people, children or young adults. You see it more with older people, and in particular when family members take advantage of seniors. So in this particular case, it's really bad. Let's talk about the charges for a minute. The charges are 5 different charges. They a totality of the charges is about 50 years of exposure. That and this defendant to jail theoretically if she was convicted of all of them for the rest of her natural life, and she'd be put in a 6x8 cell, which is a little bit larger than the room in which this victim has alleged to have been held in for the past 20 years. As a result, we look at the charges, and the charges are kidnapping, cruelty to persons, and assault. And I can go through those with you, and basically they all fit the charges or the facts rather, as they've been alleged.
I don't want to be too disturbing over breakfast, but the allegations here as to when and if he was able to go to the bathroom. He says he was always hungry. There's so much to this. Mental capacity, you say, is going to be a conversation both involving the man involved here and his stepmother.
Sure. From a defense perspective, I think that one of the things we're going to look at is, did the victim have the mental capacity to make the representations and the allegations that he's made? We know that in the police report, there's a little bit of a history of him when he's younger. So there's a suggestion there that he may have some mental health issues. Although I think he presented to both the fire department and the police department in a very coherent manner. So that question needs to be decided by some experts. But more importantly, I think the defendant, Keith, what would cause or create a person to do something like this from a young child from age 11 for 20 years? Of course, then we get into what's the motive. The motive could be that she was looking for financial gain. Potentially, she was married to
Yeah, like I said, the strange thing to me is that this kid wasn't reported missing from school. I mean, that's, I understand the homeschooling thing, but when you don't see him at all, right? I mean, it's a long time.
I believe the husband, her husband rather, was the father of the victim. Did he leave money to the child? Was she controlling the money? Was she getting benefits from the state or from the federal government? So it could be
That's a good question.
For financial reasons that she did this. That's something that needs to be investigated, I believe, a little bit further.
We know the biological dad last year. We also learned that this individual had siblings. What is the stepmother's defense as you see it?
Well, I'm not sure what her defense necessarily is going to be, other than it didn't happen, which is what her defense attorney has said, and that factually it's inaccurate. There is also the possibility that she may suffer from some mental incapacity herself. So that's something that the courts and her...
Yeah, I'd go with what he said. I can almost guarantee you this is going to be some sort of insanity thing here.
This team will have to evaluate.
DCF, once again, in the spotlight. We learned through this. I listened to an interview with this man's elementary school principal who said at 5 years old, we knew there were a problem. In 5th grade, we knew there was a problem. The principal says, I called DCF. Here we are 20 years later. Are records kept? Is there liability for DCF? What happens on that front?
Yeah, my oldest daughter was homeschooled. My youngest goes to school, but I think there needs to be some sort of attention, especially when DCYF is called twice. Like that's, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know how this can. That bitch ain't insane. She very well knew what she was doing. Dirty Diana's awesome. That bitch ain't insane. That's freaking classic. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that's. Yes, Karen Lee's here. Hey, Karen Lee, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, they need to do better for sure. Somebody needs to do better. I don't know who it is. I don't get paid enough for that. But I mean, the DCF stuff is really starting to annoy me.
So from the statement that DCF made yesterday, they've indicated that their records don't exist anymore, and that's because
what this does, what this does is it makes good parents look bad, right? Because like I said, my kids lose a couple days of school or a few days of school here and there, that's fine. But once you start losing like 7, 8, 9, 10 days of school, somebody's going to come to your house. It's always good to see Karen Lee in here. Karen Lee's amazing. Just amazing for us. And we're just going over this captivity case here. We did the Kansas City Chief fan thing. What else did we do? The Mara Murray stuff. Who knows at this point? It's too late to figure out what we've been doing. But it's good to see you, Karen. Stay safe the next couple of days. You're going to get it next.
Allegations that were made involving this child were not substantiated, so they've eliminated, or by virtue of their policy, they've basically destroyed old records. That's not uncommon. It's a bit unusual that so many people were triggered back.
Apparently, after 5 years, the DCYF they don't keep those records. I think it's after 5 years in Connecticut, obviously, but
20 years ago, and provided information to DCF, and there wasn't an additional or a continual DCF investigation. Also, the educational system, he was
aunts, uncles, anybody like associated with the family. It's just weird.
Pulled out of school. There's a little bit of a glitch in the law regarding.
If you got a 20-year-old male, full-grown male that weighs 60 pounds. I mean, obviously somebody has to notice that, right? That's got to be something that you would notice.
And especially 20 years ago, whether you had to report if you were homeschooling or you transferred to another school. So I think that the legislature is going to have to pick up on that and do some investigation.
Yeah, I've definitely been trying to figure out some more information on this Baldwin character, but they get sealed and archived. You can request old documents. I got mine from Mass when I was a kid.
Investigation themselves to determine whether we can restrict this in the future by having more regulation and more following through on people that
you guys are all awesome. I really appreciate everybody being here in the chat. You guys all make the chat worthwhile. I really do appreciate everybody being here. You guys are amazing.
transfer schools, especially young people that are in distress.
We are just starting to learn details behind this case. It is going to continue to unfold. We appreciate your insight this morning and hope you'll come back as we learn more.
My pleasure.
All right. Thanks, Ray.
The alleged victim says he suffered 2 decades of alleged abuse that, according to police, included starvation and neglect. One Connecticut lawmaker is questioning how something could have gone on so long without any intervention. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson spoke to the lawmaker and found out more from the Department of Children and Families.
This Waterbury home behind me was set on fire in February, but it wouldn't be until later when reports surfaced about a man being locked up inside the house for.
I wonder if that's why these are probably added after the fire. Okay, so I'm understanding now. So these must have been
over 2 decades. The alleged abuse from his stepmother.
This plywood was probably
okay.
That. So I think I get it now. This was broken out because of the fire, and they probably replaced it for now with the plywood. Okay, gotcha.
That's why officials like Senator Jason Perillo are asked the question, how does this go on for so long? The accused kidnapper in question is 56-year-old Kimberly Sullivan, the stepmom of the man who escaped. Reports detail that since a child, the man was held captive, starved, and was subject to other forms of abuse. As a child, it said that he would go through trash to find food and also beg and steal foods and drinks.
I know.
His behavior prompted the school to notify DCF. We reached out to DCF for comment. They sent us back a statement saying, quote, the Department of Children and Families has looked extensively at our current and historical databases.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to get away with the insanity thing. I mean, she seemed to be eating well. There's our Southern Gal, awesome Southern Gal. She's posting all these. Miss Paula, Paula Fitzhenry's awesome. Your therapist wage. But if I even say y'all might go bug people, of course, that's what we do. Other news? This is just bullshit here, this whole statement. It's like, don't look at us.
And to date, have been unable to locate any records pertaining to this family, nor any records connected to the names of others who have indicated that made reports to our department. In accordance with state regulation, it should also be noted that reports of neglect and abuse that have been investigated and not sustained are expunged 5 years after completion of the investigation.
The school administrators and the teachers did their job, right? They identified that there was a problem here and they suspected it was at home. Then the ball's in DCF's court to do their due diligence
Oh,
to make
shit.
sure that the kid is safe. And that
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. It just wasn't done.
obviously didn't happen here. The big question is, what is DCF doing to make sure that they don't walk up to a house, feel that things are going okay, when in reality they're not?
In Waterbury, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Thank you, Jamel. The abuse and neglect alleged in this case are extensive.
Things are happening in Florida? Is that what you meant? Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'll have to look into that. Flora, are you serious? That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing for Galen and oh, that would be amazing.
Police say the victim's mental health is a primary concern. So what
All right, I'm going to try to turn my ticker on here, and if it starts cutting in and out, let me know. Okay. Oh, that would be awesome. Don't tease me like that. Absolutely. Justice for all four of these beautiful little kids. They just, for Galen, good Lord. There isn't a day goes by that I don't think about Flora, so I should look into that. The Flora thing, Charles has some information for us. Let's get back to this.
Kind of mental health challenges as someone in this case face. Keith McGilvery sat down with Jessica Arnold from the Village here in Hartford to learn more.
I want to say right off the bat, A, these are allegations, and B, you do not know and you are not treating this individual, so we're going to be respectful of that. But big picture, folks are hearing the details of this story this week, and we are just collectively saying, what happened here? There's so much alleged trauma and neglect. Speak to trauma and the problems that it presents.
That would be a good day. It'd be a good day if they could get this thing at least some I don't want to say closure, but some something positive for Galen for sure. Galen is just an amazing woman. She's just amazing person.
Yeah, so trauma can be very pervasive, especially when experienced in childhood. When someone grows up in an abuse or neglect, it really carries through their adulthood. It really creates attachment issues as an adult. It can become pervasive in having social issues, the inability to form romantic relationships or friendships. And it really...
Yeah, Kathy is awesome. She's an amazing person too. She's been tirelessly working that case, the Flora case. We all have. Well, not I haven't been, but she's just devoted to that, and she needs all the kudos. Kathy's amazing. I even know very little of that part. Yeah, I can't wait. That'd be amazing.
prevents a person from,
Galen deserves answers for sure.
exploring the world, right? It really it hurts their ability to see what else is out there and to really build a life for themselves when they've been, so secluded and socially isolated for so long.
The details here are...
I'm eventually going to do part 2 on the Evansdale cases too. It's just there's so many cases going on right now. There's so many missing people. This case here and all the stuff that I'm working on too with my cases up here in New England. It's just, but I plan on doing that eventually. I may start trying to figure another live in each week. I'm not sure. It's just, there's just so much shit going on right now, case wise. And Just can't fit everything into just one live.
So incredibly extreme. He was allegedly there for 20 years. He allegedly weighed 68 pounds. Speak to the scope of trauma and neglect that you see, because I suspect that the picture is different from everybody. You not necessarily have to be left alone for 20 years to experience trauma.
Absolutely. Yeah, trauma can come in all different forms, right? Abuse and neglect, two very different things. And so, you know, we see all different types of abuse and neglect, whether it be left alone, whether it be verbal or physical abuse, whether it be someone who, you know, a child left alone to essentially raise themselves, right? You know, we see a wide range of abuse at the village.
We talk about kids getting the resources that they need when they experience something like this, but as somebody evolves into adulthood and they try to tackle their own trauma or insecurity.
All right, let's finish this up here.
Our offices on
play one more of
Weathersfield
these, I
Ave,
guess.
Hartford, so you're more than welcome to join
One more of these
us
again, then I want
there,
to play
come in
one other
person,
thing
or you can
with this.
go to thevillage.org and get all the information.
We'll continue to follow this difficult story and we'll bring you the very latest on Fox 61 Plus and Fox61.com. For now, I'm Bridget Bjorlo. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so we will play this one right here. Actually, I want to play a little of this. This is the principal here. And he, I don't think we'll watch all of this, but I just want to hear what he has to say here.
The student in
So this is the principal of the school in Waterbury, or the since retired principal. I don't think he works there anymore, but we knew it. We reported it. Not a damn thing was done. That's the trend. I know. See, like the school has. I mean, it'd be crazy if the school didn't report this, right? So let's play this. Hold on a second.
question was a kindergartner, and it was my first year
Yes.
as principal of Barnard Elementary School.
Yes, Tyler Goodrich. This is as loud as this goes. Sorry.
And I just remember seeing this kid. He was just so tiny, much smaller than usual 5-year-olds, maybe a quarter of the size. I mean, it's absolutely tiny, and he had no color to his face, and he looked emaciated. He looked like he wasn't eating at all. As time went on, and again, you're a new principal, so you're kind of getting the ropes of school. I would walk in the morning. The bar was.
Did you have a live again last night, Southern Cal, that I missed? I know they found what was his face? The little kid out there, and 2-year-old Dane. That was sad. Too late to retract what you said. Everyone read it already. Hey, it's JC Anson here. You were okay, good. Yeah, I was worried about you last night, son ago.
Was an old elementary school built in 1898. It's used for adult ed now. And they had the kids would come in the morning, and there was an old bathroom, boys' room downstairs, and they had the old type ceramic urinals, which were probably about 4 feet high, bigger than him. And I would walk in there in the morning, and he would be flushing the toilet, drinking the water coming out of the urinal as it's raining.
Oh my God.
I'm going, oh man, there's something wrong with this. And he would tell me he's thirsty. Then I'm thinking, well, maybe he's thirsty. He can't reach the fountain because the water fountain was too high. I don't know if I called the mother at that particular day, but then I would find him in the bathroom almost every morning, opening up his little lunch. He had a plastic lunchbox that kids use, and it was filthy, disgusting, with just old food and crust and everything else on it. And he would open it up. This is 8 o'clock in the morning, and he starts shoving all his lunch into his mouth. What the heck are you doing? Oh, I'm hungry. I said, didn't you have breakfast? No. What's going on here? And
this is just sick. This is a sick thing. It's always good to see JC Ann in here. JC Ann's got a great channel. She's amazing. I try to catch up on the lives of hers too. This has been a really weird week for me. So I haven't been able to catch as much as I usually do, but I usually try to replay stuff.
At this point, I would call
It's going to be obviously a little triggering here.
his mother, and I'd say, the kid's hungry. He's eating his food in the bathroom, this and that. Didn't get anywhere. He stopped doing that. Okay. And the year progresses, the teachers are all concerned. His kindergarten teachers, what's going on? He's always hungry, blah, blah, blah. As he gets into first grade, the next year, when you go to lunch, we're getting reports from other kids that he's stealing their lunch. He's literally taking it while they're eating and eating their lunch. Now you're talking.
Can you imagine that? I mean, it's a horrible life. It's just
6-year-olds now. Kids do stuff like that. So it's not that uncommon, but he was doing it constantly. So again, like Mr. Principal, I called the mother just to kind of say, hey, what's going on, this and that. Oh, I'll take care of it. No, this, that. He's eating, there should be no problem. And looking back, you probably got.
Is Dino leaving? Good night, buddy. Good to see you, man. Dino is always awesome in here. I hope you're feeling all right, man. Go get that hand checked. You've been falling behind. You're doing fine. You're doing great. Have a good week, Dino. Stay safe, brother.
He got punished when he went home. So what I did was probably the worst possible thing for the kid. He wouldn't be stealing the food as much, but he was constantly hungry. These teachers, he had the teachers up to
This kid wasn't being fed. He wasn't being fed at all.
grade. They were constantly bringing food in for the kid. And he was just ravenous, devouring it all the time. He'd tell us stories of, he had 2 biological sisters to the mother. And the mother would order pizza and he wouldn't get any of the pizza. And this kind of stuff kind of broke your heart.
Wait a minute here. So he had 2 biological sisters from the mother or stepmother. Hold on.
Mother would order pizza and he wouldn't get any of the pizza. And this kind of stuff kind of broke your heart. Biological sisters. The 4th grade, they were constantly bringing food in for the kid. And he was just ravenous, devouring it all the time. He'd tell us stories of, he had 2 biological sisters to the mother. And mother.
2 biological sisters to the mother. Would that make them not biological? I don't know.
Would order pizza and he wouldn't get any of the pizza. And this kind of stuff kind of broke your heart. And over the years, from kindergarten to 4th grade, between myself, the school nurse, the parent liaison, the teachers, called DCF numerous times. If I'm saying 20, that's probably being conservative. And whether they investigate, you do the paperwork, you do the phone call, they do the investigation, they come back, we went to the house and nothing, this and that. You really weren't getting anywhere going through that agency. After 4th grade.
Has anybody seen Mr. Steve lately? Has he had any lives? Hope he's doing well.
He never went to 5th grade. And I'm not quite sure if he finished his 4th grade at Barnard School, but I definitely know he didn't show up for 5th grade. It was a small neighborhood school. It was maybe 250 kids. All the kids, the neighborhood, this and that. And so I would start asking the kids, hey, you see this and that? And I knew the kids who lived right next door. And I would ask them, and they would tell me, oh, yeah, we see him. He's in the window of the house waving out the window. I said, well, does he ever come out and play? Do you ever see him in the yard? No, we never see him in the yard.
So weird. That's just so bizarre. That's like the Princess in the Towers case. It's so weird. How does that even happen?
He never plays. He never comes out. I said, well, how long is he in the window for? Well, he's in the window for a little while, and then we see him the next day or the next day. So obviously, I'm kind of concerned about that. I called the police at least 2 or 3 times, could be more, for wellness checks. And I gave statements in terms of there's something wrong. This kid, he's not coming to school. There's no.
Yeah, I was never really a big fan of Captain Howdy, but it's always easy to say that now. But just sad. All of the whole case, that whole thing with Captain Howdy's sad. He's been on some member lives. Okay, I think he's been on the road a lot lately. Geez, that guy's got to slow down. Captain Howdy is your friend? Yeah, I didn't expect him to do that stuff, but I listen to Captain Howdy a lot, but I don't know. Sometimes there's things you see about people you just, I guess is what they call the red flag type things.
Reports of him going to school. Kids see him in the window. What's going on? I don't remember the police literally.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Southern Gal. It's so weird that, it just seems like this makes it really bad for parents who really try their best to do shit. These are the cases that now I guarantee you the next couple of months or so, maybe even a year, Connecticut, the DCF is going to really be all over people. It was planned, which makes it worse. Yeah. You were Facebook friends with him and didn't even know it? Yeah, it's a sad thing. That whole case is sad. The whole thing's sad. I don't want to call it a case, but
ever coming to the school to follow up on it. But I remember them saying, yeah, they went to the house, they saw the kid, they talked to the mother, everything's fine. And I would respond by saying, how is everything fine? He's not going to school. I mean, I specifically remember the police told me, well, the mother said she's enrolling him in Wolcott schools. And I remember actually contacting Wolcott schools. There's already 2 elementary schools there, explaining who I was. We're looking for this kid. What our concerns was, there was no record of him going to Wolcott. The 2 sisters went to.
Shouldn't have that have been a fucking red flag? Shouldn't have that? I mean, what was going here? I mean, if a parent tells you, okay, the kid's not coming to school because he's going to another school, and you check on that, and they have no record of that at all. I would have thought that would have raised the red flag, man. Well, live start again tomorrow night, and very soon his will be too. Then he's a case. Skipping. Is it skipping? What's skipping?
I want to say St. Margaret's School, which is up off Highland Avenue, somewhere up there. I don't know if it's still in business, whatever. The 2 sisters, the twin sisters, went there. So we never had any communication with the 2 sisters, but they obviously went to a private parochial school, which was a pretty nice school in Waterbury, and he was at the public school. So we basically, after 4th grade, we lost the contact, other than me calling. And I think myself with the parent liaison claims we went to the house when he was in 5th grade. It's more than likely we did. And I don't think anybody.
Usually when a principal will call to check on the well-being of a child, and you get a response from a parent like, oh, well, we've enrolled him in another school, and then the principal calls the other school, and there's no record of that ever happening, that should have raised like an immediate response, in my opinion. That's just not, that's not okay to say that that's just okay, right? So,
they ever answered the door. I remember walking around the house looking. It had to be 2004, 2005. And after that, I was telling you about the after-school programs I do. One of the programs at the time I was doing was at Chase Park House, which is on right on the street, the main street going on Sunnyside Avenue. And we'd finish the programs at Chase Park House, and I would just drive across the street, and I would look to see if I could see. I said, that's the house I would tell my wife the story. I said, that's where he lived. I don't know where this kid is, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to see the story on Dateline sometime.
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. It's just, I can't listen to this anymore because I don't know how this fucking shit happened. Sorry for the French. It just, oh my God, it's just awful. How does this happen? Oh, all right. So I'm going to change the subject here. We're going to go to another strange case here. So let's do this here. We're going to go to the case of, hold on a second. The missing student that went missing in Punta Cana. And I've been following this for a while too, but I had to get off of this case here to follow the other case, the University of Pittsburgh missing persons case here. So let's get a, let me share this here. Hold on a second here. Yes. It's all about the victims. That's all it is. So this is the case of the missing Sudishka Kanaki. So University of Pittsburgh Sudishka Kanaki disappeared while on spring break in Punta Cana last week. This was done 4 days ago. So this she was seen in the early morning hours of Wednesday morning. So that would have been last Wednesday, not this last Wednesday. Brand new surveillance shows final moments before she was reported missing. And this is this case here. This is just this whole walk. This whole him with his arm around her walk. It seems like she wants to get away from him. Looks like they're both kind of inebriated here, but here's this case.
Showing the last known moments.
Like I said, this was done. This is Law Network. This was done 4 days ago.
Of a missing college student.
So these two people right here, these two girls here, these are the friends. But you watch this walk here. It just doesn't. The whole thing doesn't look right.
In the Dominican Republic right before she vanished. We're learning new information about the man she's seen heading to the beach with, what he is reportedly telling authorities, and why there are reports that his stories don't add up. We're on the case presented by Law on Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
So when a kid is withdrawn, the school won't follow up. So they won't follow up even though yes, and the kid last seen with her is from Iowa. Really bothers you as you're a teacher too. Yeah, my wife's a teacher too. Like I said, I we go through that here. Like my daughter's sick a lot, especially this year here. There's been everything. She's missed a lot of days this year, and we get, because she goes. My wife works at the school, so it's not that she just tells them it just doesn't feel good. But especially after the Harmony Montgomery case here in this state, anyways, I mean, you miss. You start missing, a bunch of days in a certain semester, you're going to get phone calls. You might even get you might even get some sort of a letter. So I'm just not sure. Of course, this was a long 2000 and whenever this 2004, I think it was. So it's just different now, but it's just this stuff here. That case with the kid here, malnourished. Grown adult now. It just I don't get it. I don't understand.
The search for Sudiksha Konanki has stretched into another day. The 20-year-old college student was last seen on Thursday, March 6th in the early hours of the morning. Here's what we know. Now we have the surveillance video showing the 20-year-old University of Pittsburgh student. This is the security footage capturing her and a group of friends going to the beach around 4:15 in the morning at their all-inclusive resort. And you can see the
part of the reason why I started a channel or any type of true crime is because of DV. It's just, I don't, especially, people who can't defend themselves, kids. That's why I'm in this horrible business. It just sucks. No, you're good. You're good. Absolutely good. Yeah, she's a teacher. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand how this could go. That whole case could go on for so long. It's not like they weren't called. They were called twice. So.
Person believed to be Sudishka with a man in a cutoff t-shirt. That is the person she is believed to have been with before she vanished. This video was obtained by Dominican media outlet Noticias SIN. The video then shows Sudishka's friends returning to the hotel from
See, they come back. This is so weird.
The beach around 5:55 in the morning. And while they returned to the hotel, they left Sudishka and that young man that hasn't been identified publicly by authorities yet behind at the beach. But here is the surveillance video showing when he returns later that morning, just before 10 a.m. alone. You can see he now has a
He's freaking hungover. Look at how hungover this guy is.
Shirt off. We'll get into his reported explanation for what happened in just a moment. But whatever happened to Sudiksha, he is believed to be the last person to have seen her, to have been with her. It's also important to note that police in the Dominican Republic, they're the ones leading this investigation. They say this young man, he's not a suspect, and they tell ABC News.
Since you just said that, that's who I was trying to figure. That's right, Natalie Holloway. Yep, absolutely right. I was trying to figure that. I was trying to link that. It's just I couldn't remember her name. Thank you, Jocelyn. Your school does phone calls, home visits, and even CPS reports, and they usually don't go anywhere. You can see that people could see this kid in the window, though. They could see him in the house. It's not like the parents moved away, right? So it's like it's just I don't understand how it happened. I don't get it. You okay, Diana? The Secret Paw. This story has changed several times. Yeah, this is another one of these. Are you okay, Dee? I haven't seen Miranda Lee in here either lately. I hope she's okay.
News that at this point, her disappearance is being investigated and treated as an accident. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't some serious questions being raised about what happened, what he is saying, and how this night came to
I don't believe in accidents.
an end. Now, that young man, who police say was the last person to be with Sudiksha, has reportedly been somewhat inconsistent with details of how the night ended. He allegedly has said that he and Sudiksha went swimming and that she was swept away by a big wave and drowned. Dominican media outlets citing police.
Okay, I'm glad you're okay. Yeah, where is Charlotte? Charlotte will be here soon. She's okay. Miranda's fine. Okay, good. Charlotte is Charlotte. Miranda was in the chat on Monday. Okay, she's probably just mad at me. Okay, so she's 20 years old, 5'3". She got black hair, brown eyes, obviously. Last seen wearing brown two-piece. Oh, there you go. Yeah, let's hope this is not another Natalie Holloway, because
Also say that his claims have somewhat been inconsistent. He says that he threw up and fell asleep on a beach chair, and the last time he saw her was either when she was in high water or walking.
Okay, is Hebe Heather? I don't know. Everybody is always mad at me. Yeah, if it's an accident, the authorities would have been called immediately, right? All I know is this place looks really good. I mean, this is if I'm gonna die, please let me die right here. This would be fine. I would do that.
along the shore. Now, Dominican media say that police are keeping tabs on that young man while they continue this investigation. Sudiksha's father says that he doesn't know who he is, meaning Sudiksha perhaps met him while she was at the resort on spring break. It's obviously a place this time of year very popular with college students who are escaping the rigors of school to enjoy spring break with their friends. Now, one new clue that search crews have found is what's believed to be Sudiksha's clothes, which were located on a beach chair. Police said
Hebby. Been to Punta Cana twice, so beautiful. And not that janky hook. You heard another missing person in January.
say there are no signs of violence associated with those clothes. But let's talk a little bit more about this resort, because according to the account that this young man gave police,
I always, first thing I think of when I hear about these cases like this is date rape stuff. Date RAPEDRUG, right? Went to a true crime event tonight. Presenting was forensic psychologist Rachel Tolles. That's awesome. Been one of my nicknames since I was young, Dave. Oh, awesome. Are you okay? Did you hear anything, Heather? Did Mino? Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not getting 100% of what's going on.
he had been drinking.
Look at this. You just swim right up to the bar here. This is fantastic.
It's unclear whether Sudiksha was intoxicated at the time of her disappearance. But this resort, it's seen as a place where college students can go and enjoy a bar 24 hours a day. We looked online and you can get packages for as low as $90 a night that has 24-hour bar access. While authorities are piecing together what happened by talking to Sudiksha's friends, of course, that young man who was the last person to be seen with her, search crews are searching through land, sea.
Every time I ask how Miranda's doing, she shows up in the chat. It's good to see you, Miranda. It's Miranda now, not Miranda Lee. The doctors called and I called back and left a message. And I must have missed them, so should know something Monday, Dave. Okay, good. Miranda's here. Hi, Miranda. Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. I hope you're well, Miranda. Well, I miss you too. That's why I asked if you were doing okay. Heather E's here. Hi, Heather E. Good to see you. You haven't missed much. We're just talking about the this missing person here from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. This is I always butcher her name, Sudishka Kanenki, and I'm going to play a couple of these here.
Air in hopes of finding any more clues that could answer what happened to this 20-year-old girl. This is video that the civilian defense in the Dominican Republic posted on social media showing their search efforts. We know along with Dominican authorities, U.S. law enforcement, including the FBI, are involved in this search. Sudiksha is an Indian citizen, but a permanent U.S. resident. She lived in Loudoun County, Virginia, which is outside Washington, D.C. And the Loudoun County Sheriff has said that his agency is assisting.
So I got something for Southern Gal. Hold on a second. I'll look for it, but I know she's into the mob thing. So I don't know if she's seen this before. So let me find it now. Hold on a second.
With this search, and he told News Nation today that he thinks it's too premature to draw any conclusions on what happened. ABC News reported that Dominican officials over the weekend said that they believe that Sudiksha likely drowned. Sudiksha's father, who is now in the Dominican Republic, has said that he's not ready to believe that theory of drowning just yet. He has called on authorities to do more, to investigate the possibility of an abduction or a kidnapping. There hasn't been any evidence that we've heard of as of yet to support that theory either. Her father also says that he thinks it's suspicious that his daughter would leave her phone and wallet with her friends, who later reported her missing, since he says she always has those items on her. Now, her friends didn't report her missing until 4 p.m. on Thursday, which is roughly 12 hours since the last time Sudiksha was seen with them entering that beach on surveillance video. Now, while there are cameras that show when the group entered the beach and left and when people got back to their hotel rooms, there are no cameras directly on the beach that would be able to see Sudiksha.
Okay, so Charles, don't pester Miranda. I will have to come lay us the smackdown. Oh. Yes, go ahead and lay us the smackdown. Charles is in charge. All right, so I got this. Hold on. To be fair, she's done the same shit to me. There you go. Karma's a bitch. Absolutely. So I got this. Hold on a second. I got this for. So if you want to check out something really interesting about the mob, especially the Boston Mafia, go to GBH News and look up "You Understand American." That gives you everything you want to know about how they kind of crack down on Jamaro. Oops. Sorry. Plus you were checking on her. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes. I don't know if I can post it in here. I might be able to. Hold on a second. No, it's the other guys. I touch on Whitey Bulger a little bit in there, but for a completely different reason than people think. But there you go. I posted it in there, so it's really good.
Authorities have to work with what they're finding through their search efforts and what friends and acquaintances have had to say during police interviews. The 20-year-old was on spring break with her friends ahead of studying pre-med at the University of Pittsburgh in the spring. According to her family, they say she was planning to pursue a career in medicine. Before we get back to this episode of On the Case, I want to thank our partners at Upside for sponsoring this video. Upside is a free app that you download, screen, or what theories stick out to you about what possibly could have happened in the Dominican Republic?
Well, I mean, there's a few. I think, the most obvious, unfortunately, would be a drowning scenario. You got alcohol. This is a part of the Punta Cana that.
Yeah, this is a very strange case. Who said that up there? I think it was Jocelyn said something about this being kind of like Natalie Holloway. It's very similar. Yeah, I don't trust the guy at all. I'm a true crime, so it's hard. It has to include mafia. Yeah, I lived it, literally.
Is notorious for rip currents. In fact, this same hotel has had 5 drowning deaths since January. So it's not unusual. But then, of course, as I'm sure the FBI and everybody's looking into, until they have a body, they'll obviously explore a foul play narrative as well. Anything from abduction to.
Hey, watch how they're walking here. This is really, I wanted to play this. This is.
Until they have a body, they'll obviously explore a foul play narrative as well. Anything from abduction to.
See how she's kind of like keeps. I mean, obviously these people have just met. These are holding a cell phone. This is obviously a cell phone. He's taking a selfie. She's kind of trying to get away from him here, but he's like kind of pulling her back towards him like this. This is just really bizarre. I wonder if he slipped maybe a roofie to her or something, or but this whole thing here, I'll try to see if I can find that, because it's the way she's walking and the way he's kind of like holding her, so she can't get away. It's just really, it's eerie almost.
something going wrong with the male that she was with. But
See that, like that bubble? He wants to get away from this guy, but he's got to kind of like, and it almost looks like she's trying to pull his arm off of her with her arm. Let me play that again here.
anything from abduction to,
See, he pulls her in here. Then watch a couple more steps. She almost like tries to get away from the grip here, and he pulls her back in.
something going wrong with the male that she was with. But I think right now in my mind,
She doesn't be with this guy at all, my opinion.
as an investigator and as a search and rescue specialist, is
See that he just pulled her in again right there. But obviously they're both probably drunk and like I just found that
drowning
weird.
is likely.
And I know you've investigated a lot of different missing persons cases. What type of evidence would need to be seen for foul play to even be still more of a possibility than maybe that drowning theory, which really seems to be the one that authorities are treating as at this point?
Sure. Well, this resort in particular, I'm sure has a ton of surveillance, probably a lot more than we've heard about. I'm sure that even the beaches are covered from longer distance surveillance cameras. And also, the rest.
Yeah, I did the Mara Murray stuff early in the yeah, I don't know why. That's the only thing I can't try to figure out is why they left her like that. It's a little weird.
Rest of them didn't come back up from the beach until 5:55 a.m. and I believe dawn is about 6:15ish there. So this was not, the dead of night, and that's when workers will start being out there.
It almost seems like the friends are a little frantic too here when they're walking back, though. It almost looks like they're not very happy, right? Like, I want to watch this again. So,
the rest of the group didn't come back up from the beach until 5:55 a.m. and I believe dawn is about.
So they look like they're kind of bewildered. Like they don't look hammered at all. Or, I mean, the other two look like they were pretty tipsy. These two here, they almost look like they're kind of almost like dejected. Like, why is she going with him?
15ish there. So this was not, the dead of night. And that's when workers will start being out there to set up lounge chairs and whatnot. And so I think it's going to come down to, witness statements that saw him and what his actions were, if he was looking for her in the water or if he was truly just passed out, I think, which is something he claims. And then, of course, if they find any, I don't know if she.
Ma Barker had clan in a hideout in the small town I live in. Oh, that's cool. Whenever I hear Ma Barker, I always think Bob Barker from The Price is Right. There's only one Bob Barker. Oh, you're going to bed? Okay. Good to see you, Mustang. Have a good week. Stay safe, for sure. Remember last week we lost an hour, so we were here for like 5 hours. Senegal, our Barker clan loved. I think Lamont at large covered the story. Yeah. It's good to see you, Mustang. Always good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Stay safe.
She had her cell phone on her or not, but obviously can be done without with Celebrite and it's like that. But I think it's going to come down to surveillance and obviously the interviews of the rest of the group she was with.
In your experience with these interviews, because I think to your point, there's been drowning deaths at this resort in Punta Cana, but when you have a case where at an all-inclusive resort where, let's face it, they're college kids, probably been drinking all day. The male that she was with has said that he passed out. He threw up and passed out on the beach. It was reported that there were some inconsistencies in his story. When was the last time he saw her? She was on the shore. She was in the in the water. She was taken by a wave. I mean, how do you balance inconsistencies that I know there's people in the world of social media that's a bit suspicious, with the fact that, you know, let's face it, they were at an all-inclusive resort and there were college kids that were drinking all day, and clearly he at least was intoxicated when all this happened.
Yeah, and you know, I've seen surveillance of them heading out to the beach, and listen, they're clearly intoxicated, especially him.
Yeah.
You know, as far as you know, balancing that all out, it's really going to come down to, you know, what the actions were. I know he's given these different stories, but we don't know if those are truly different stories or if those are different stories that have leaked out to the press.
Right.
You know, another recent case of a drowning death that I was investigating on Strain in Nashville. Same thing happened. There was a lot of stories that were out there that we knew were not true as investigators, but we couldn't really clarify at the time. So, you know, I don't know if he's actually, if authorities are actually claiming that he's given different stories, or if the press has heard different stories. So, you know, come down to that. Now, if he has given different accounts, that's a problem. That's a real problem, because there should only be one story. But I also believe there's going to be other eyewitnesses out there of what his actions were at the time, because it was, the sun was coming up, and by the time he left the beach, there was a ton of people probably already out there. So it'd be interesting to know if he was truly asleep, or if he was looking. Why didn't he summon help immediately? You know, there were certainly people around 6 a.m.
You bring up a good point there, because a lot of the information that we've been getting here in the United States has been through police sources in the Dominican Republic. Some speaking, I know, to like ABC News, some speaking to the local Dominican outlets. So it is hard to kind of piece together what's fact and what's truly the case, though this time is coming together that they were drunk at the beach and potentially she drowned. When you do search and rescue efforts or searching for missing people, what are some of the challenges that the ocean provides when it comes to getting evidence?
Yeah, so I mean, these rip currents. Well, you know, anytime you mix alcohol with water, I mean, water even without alcohol is just so deadly. It's so much
Right.
can go wrong in
4:15
water,
in the
and
morning. Yeah.
yeah, and then you mix in alcohol and rip currents, and we don't know what type of earths they were. And listen, I know when I was on spring break and everything, especially in different countries, you kind of feel bulletproof, right? You go down there and it's just not the case. And tragedy, you know, can happen. But then it's from a search and rescue point of view, if somebody is in the water, it becomes a whole different challenge, because initially that person's going to sink and they're going to stay like that for, depending on.
It's 3:27. I don't think anybody has to be responsible here in the chat. But thank you, Diane. I've been to the hotel in Hot Springs where Capone had his own suite. There's a big difference, in my opinion, between the Irish and the Italians. And then that thing I sent you, you're gonna especially down in Boston.
On the water temperature and their individual body dynamics, you know, they're going to stay under there for a couple days before they surface again, and then you have a very limited amount of time to find them before they're going to sink again. And so it's a big challenge.
And that was my next question, because I know her father, who's in the Dominican Republic, and you just can't imagine what he and this family is going through right now, trying to find some sense of closure in hopes that maybe she's still alive. But I know one thing that he had said was that she would have come ashore if she drowned, she came ashore.
In a successful days of the Italian mob, it was kind of run like a small little government. Maybe this thing's in Hayward.
You know, occurrence, you know how difficult is it to recover a body from the ocean, especially if it's someone who's taken by a big wave or rip current in a place like Punta Cana?
Yeah.
Or shark.
I mean, sometimes they indeed will come ashore. However, with the rip current, it is a current that's actually taking you away from the beach. It's going against the the wave pattern, and it's actually shooting you out into the ocean. And from there, once you drown, you immediately start to sink. And once you're on the bottom, you're not in that current.
Scarface is one of my favorite movies. Scarface, especially the unedited version of Scarface. Partly because I'm in love with Michelle Pfeiffer, and two, just Al Pacino's role in that was just amazing.
Current anymore, and until you.
I can't watch the edited versions of those movies because it's just not the same. Like the whole chainsaw scene in that movie Scarface was, you can't watch that without watching it, unedited. Oh.
Float again, which takes a couple days. So there is a window of opportunity. It depends how far you get taken out to sea, and you're not guaranteed to wash up on shore. In fact, one of the people that drowned in January for the same resort still has not been found. So it's not a guarantee. And now we all hope that if this is the case, she's found, obviously, so the family gets closure. But it's not a sure thing that she will just wash ashore.
Beyond just obviously a body, but I think of some of the images we've seen of the helicopters that have been flying over the beach as they've been doing these search efforts.
They're not going to be finding her in the water with a helicopter, okay? It's not.
If you're in that helicopter, what are you looking for? That I mean, clearly a body, but I mean, that's a lot harder than it seems when you're up that high and you're looking for something in the ocean. I mean, how do you go about trying to find some sort of evidence along the beachfront?
Sure. So what you're looking for is actually it's not even in the form of a body. It's just kind of a mass of water that looks a little different, a little denser.
I don't think she's in the water. That's just my opinion.
But it's incredibly hard because if there's any waves at all, it's constantly shifting. That it almost looks like a blur pattern. If there's white caps, it makes it really hard. But if it's dead calm, the water becomes like a mirror where you can't see through it. So it makes it really hard. But there are also modeling programs that can now predict the float pattern of somebody that's been washed to sea based on the current.
I just want to know, I would like to know if the guy has any scratches on him or unusual, marks. That's what I would want to know. I think it's possible that he obviously was trying to get with her and she probably didn't want anything to do with him. So he basically might have slipped her something to, get her to comply. That didn't work either. So, I mean, it's all possible. I don't know.
Tides and everything. I don't know if I assume they probably have it down there. I know our U.S. Coast Guard and search and rescue teams that specialize in water rescue have it. If they don't have it, I'm sure it's been made available to them. I'm sure we're offering all the assets we can with FBI and everybody involved. But it's just because you got a helicopter view, it does not make any guarantees. It's still very, very hard to see, even in clear water like that.
Knowing that you have the Dominican authorities that are leading this investigation, but the FBI is involved, you even have her local sheriff's office in Loudoun County, Virginia, that's been making statements about assisting. In your experience, when it comes to, the Dominican authorities have experience working with the FBI, obviously. I mean, a huge part of their economy comes from the United States and college students that are going for spring break. So it's not like they've never worked together before. But how do these investigations typically work when you have people coming from so many different agencies trying to accomplish the same thing?
Yeah, so the Dominicans are in control of this investigation, but now you got FBI attaché offices involved and whatnot. they're always going to be the Dominicans are always going to be the lead in this as far as the press and everything goes. But I can pretty much guarantee you that the FBI has has a lot of say in there right now. They're not the lead; they're an assisting agency.
My father always used to say, they tell people that money doesn't buy happiness, but a really good down payment on it. I have a reputation, bedroom house that after Hurricane Ian is only good as a shed. Huh. 5-bedroom house. I hate autocorrect and I hate landscape. What's the view on the phone where it's I think it's landscape. I hate landscape. I like the up and down and not across.
But they still have a lot of power even out of the country, and I guarantee they're leaning on them a little bit and kind of forcing their way to assist. They won't take any credit for it, but I'm sure that's going on, and I'm sure there's a lot of assets that they might not have that they're being offered. A lot of intelligence as far as whether it could be a drowning or something else, because there's everything. It's not just if she's in the water. Of course, there's going to be a lot of surveillance to be analyzed and to be enhanced, and a lot of interviews to be done. And I'm sure the FBI is going to want to sit down on those interviews and assist. And although the Dominican will be the lead, I think the American agencies are probably sitting side by side with them.
I want to switch to this one here. Hold on a second here. This one right here. Hold on, get this one here. This is coming out of Pittsburgh here. This was done 3 days ago now. Oakland, Pittsburgh. The man has been named a person of interest in a missing University of Pittsburgh student. Joshua Ribby is now considered a person of interest. Officials say, adding he may have been the last person to see Yankee. So here's this here. Actually, let me put this back from the beginning here.
Interest has been named in the disappearance of Pitt student Sadiksha Kanaki in the Dominican Republic. Kanaki has been missing since last Thursday.
It's Kimber. Hey, Kimber, how are you? Good to see you. It's always good to see Kimber here. Jocelyn's still here. Thank you, Jocelyn. You're an hour away from Pittsburgh, you lucky person. I haven't made it to quite Pittsburgh yet, but one of these days I will. It's on my bucket list. I've always wanted to go to a Steeler game because I'm such a Steeler fan. It's always good to see Kimber here. Thank you for coming in, Kimber. I hope you're well.
Punta Cana. ABC News has been told by Dominican officials they believe she drowned. The Virginia Sheriff's Office says the person of interest in this missing persons case is Joshua Ribe, and they have no further statement right now. So far, he has not been charged with a crime. We'll get some more information on that all day.
As the search intensifies for that missing woman, tonight we're learning new details about her disappearance, and we're also learning just how difficult that ocean rescue may be for crews.
It poses a greater risk and difficulty in that aspect. Amount of water, how strong the currents are, the waves coming down can hit someone, knock someone over, the type of land that's underneath the water, rocks depend on the shoreline, and just the vast majority of it.
20-year-old Sudiksha Kunanki was last seen at a resort in the Dominican Republic where she was on a spring break trip with 5 other female students from the university. Just hours ago, the police in the Dominican Republic releasing new information about the investigation, saying that they've learned from the hotel her disappearance coincided with a power outage that prompted multiple guests to head to the beach. Dominican police are also re-interviewing people who were at the resort with Kunanki before she vanished at the beach in front of the resort. The last information officials have is that she was with man, who police have not identified nor are treating as a suspect, was last seen with Kunanki, confirms they were in the ocean together when a wave crashed into them. Here in Allegheny County, the Swiftwater Rescue Team primarily focus on river rescues. They say in their cases, it may be easier to get to a victim before they drown, but that's not always the case for the ocean.
Where the ocean comes into danger to even the greatest swimmers is things like the rip currents and the waves, knocking them over. Once you get knocked over, holding them down.
Now, police told ABC News initially that Kunanki's clothes were found by a portable beach bed near the ocean, but the Civil Defense Agency confirmed that is not true. Reporting in Stowe Township, Yasmin Rodriguez, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Yeah, Mike. Well, this is definitely on the minds of Pitt students we spoke with who just got back from spring break themselves. Now, as for the latest on the investigation, police sources told ABC News Kunanki's clothes were found on the beach she was believed to have gone for a swim at.
The disappearance of fellow Panther Sudiksha Kunanki is certainly being felt in Oakland as Pitt students come back from spring break.
I think it's made a lot of us sort of scared about what's going on.
Two police sources told ABC News Monday Kunanki's clothes were found on the Dominican Republic beach where authorities believe she was last seen going for a swim. The update comes one day after ABC News received word the 20-year-old may have drowned after getting caught in a big wave. Despite these reports, the search for the Pitt student is intensifying. Helicopters, drones, boats, and now a canine unit are all being used to find Kunanki.
A lot of people went there for spring break. I hear a lot of people are going to Florida for spring break, and I think everyone should really reconsider and think what the safest option is.
Being diligent, doing your research, and staying in a large group of friends, never being alone, I feel like is really important, especially for, a girl in a different country.
Precautions are top of mind for Pitt sophomores Priya Zalavadia and Julia DeVidio, who just got back from their own spring break trip in Miami.
It really is scary to think about all the popular tourist locations specifically targeted towards college girls on spring break.
You think she's in the water? Something tells me I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I normally am. I hope she's okay. Evil I see snow far too often. Yeah, we don't. It's been warm here though. I'm not complaining. I was just outside with no jacket on. It's been unusually warm for March. March here is almost like January. It doesn't make. Usually it's really cold. You don't think she is? I don't think she's in the water either. But she might be. Yeah, I don't think she's okay either.
And how dangerous those places really are.
Authorities in Kunanki's home state of Virginia are also doing their part to find her. The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office has filed for a worldwide police alert for a missing person, also known as a yellow notice, after a request from her father for a bigger investigation. I spoke to Sheriff Michael Chapman, who urged families to stay up to date on travel warnings when planning trips.
It's important as well for parents when their children go down there to make sure they not only have contact information for their child, but the friends that they're with.
Look, I don't know if anybody's been on vacation to places like that. It's good to see Kimber here for sure. You can talk to these people all you want about how they're supposed to behave and stuff, but when you go down, you're supposed to be having fun. Nobody cares about that stuff. Just there's so many things, and one of the reasons why, I think when you see these cases and I think, what could have possibly happened, you always go back to that incident with my sister, and I know she was, drugged. I know that they put something in her drink because she literally was out. It was me, my other sister, my brother-in-law, and we all decided to go out. I think we were in Florida. And they just, you couldn't wake her up. She was out like a light. I thought she was dead. But all of a sudden she just, about an hour or so, she just woke up. So I always think of that, like it's a possibility that she was maybe, trying to, get away from that guy, and she just, made him angry or whatever. Obviously they were both hammered.
And any other information they can have that they can get. And also, it's also good to know the people.
Once you start drinking, you're a completely different person. Like, all those wonderful, they always used to say back in the day, get a designated driver. Well, what happens if the designated driver's drunk too? Just alcohol plays a big role in things, man.
People that they're traveling with.
The sheriff's office says surveillance video and telephone records are being reviewed as part of this investigation. Now, a man Konanki was said to be with right before she disappeared is reportedly not being considered a suspect by authorities. Reporting live on the Pitt campus, I'm Jordan Sayopa, Pittsburgh's Action News 4. According to
What was that?
being reviewed as part of this investigation. Now, a man Konanki was said to be with right before she disappeared is reportedly not being considered a suspect by authorities. Reporting live on the Pitt campus, I'm Jordan Sayopa, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
According to ABC police sources, Sudiksha Konanki's clothes were found on the beach. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Carlos Flores has the latest details.
There have been some developments in the search for 20-year-old Pitt student and Virginia resident Sudiksha Konanki, and we also now have a clearer picture of the
Punta Cana?
The timeline of events. ABC News reported that Konanki and a group of people went to the beach around 4 a.m. last Thursday after going to a nightclub. A source telling the news outlet that security camera video shows the women Konanki was traveling with walking back to their hotel just before 6 a.m. Now, according to a Dominican Republic investigative report, a man stayed behind with Konanki on the beach. He tells police that he and the Pitt student went for a swim and got caught by a big wave. A source saying the man would tell police that when he returned to the beach, he threw up and fell asleep on a beach bed, and when he woke up, he said Konanki was nowhere to be seen. Security video then shows the man coming back to his hotel room just before 10 a.m. Two police sources tell ABC News that Konanki's clothes were found on a portable beach bed close to where she went missing. Sunday night, Dominican officials added they believe Konanki died by drowning. Now, in Loudoun County, Virginia, where Konanki is from, their sheriff's office telling reporters yesterday they are not losing hope in finding her.
We want to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to do to get to the bottom of this. I mean, certainly our hearts go out.
See, so there is it's hold on a second here. So there is coral here. This is coral, right? Or is this just I just thought this is not very whoops. This is not very deep here. So it's really hard for me to believe. And I don't think there's anything going on with, any type of surf there. So, I don't know. Drowning to me, it's possible. It's definitely not possible, but I don't know. You'd have to really be freaking hammered to die out here drowning. Just my opinion. All right, so just look at this beach. This is so wonderful. Let's go. I can see myself sitting right on this pier here, literally. It's possible. That's possible too, for sure. I think they know more than we do.
To the family right now, they're going through a very difficult time. And we're not ruling anything in or ruling anything out.
According to the chief of civil defense in the Dominican Republic, that man was with Konanki is not being considered a suspect at this time and is not being identified. In Oakland, Carlos Flores, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Law enforcement in Loudoun County,
I haven't drank in 20 years. It's been 20 years for me, and I don't miss it.
Virginia, where Sudiksha Konanki's family lives, now filing for a yellow notice. That's a worldwide police alert issued by Interpol, and we're hearing of this the same day that Konanki's.
You've been there before, Paula? I could go there right now. I would go there right now. Of course, I'd probably because my wife would kill me if I went without her. But where was she missing? Pennsylvania, right? Pittsburgh.
Father asked investigators to broaden the investigation to include the possibility of foul play or abduction. 20-year-old Sudiksha Konanki reportedly last seen on March 6th beach near the resort where she and her friend.
Didn't these guys just get destroyed by a hurricane? Was that last year or the year before that? I think it was it Punta Cana? Wait, I'll have to look at that. I'm pretty sure one of these islands here got destroyed.
Friends were vacationing over spring break. Dominican officials tell ABC News she and one other person went for a swim around 4 o'clock in the morning and were caught by a big wave, leading officials to believe she may have drowned. But today, her father has reportedly asked authorities to broaden their investigation.
That's got to be nice. They didn't take you with them? I'd have been like, bro, what's up, bro? How are you taking me? Dominican Republic. That's in the I'll look that up while we listen to this here. I think that's in
Include the possibility of foul play or abduction. Meanwhile,
Pretty
Pitt
sure they just
students
got,
awaiting updates on their fellow student.
I'm pretty sure they just got destroyed this year. It's been a pretty terrible year for them down there. No, that's right here. It's the Turks, just south of the Turks and Caicos. It's the Dominican Republic. It's right off of the eastern coast of the Dominican Republic. You could pretty much throw a rock and hit Puerto Rico. Pretty sure it was either the last year or the year before that they got drilled by a hurricane here. Category 5, pretty sure.
Shocking and also a little scary, just like knowing like someone in our community, you know, went through that and like they're not going to be here anymore to enjoy school or finish their degree or anything.
There's no predicting something like that is going to happen. There's nothing to do in the moment. And I don't know, I just feel terrible. My heart just goes out to the family.
Konanki is an Indian citizen and permanent resident of Loudoun County, Virginia. Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, the Embassy of India, Dominican Police, and the Navy are involved in the investigation.
The alcohol is a factor, I think, for sure. And if she was roofied, then it's even more of a factor. Paul DR says no, but Pittsburgh LE says yes. Not Harry Haiti. This is why I type with one finger. Info for a walk outside during a Cat 5. Yeah. I'll tell you, if I'm on the beach down there, I could care less if there's a Category 5. I'm still hang out at the beach. It can go around me, bro.
FBI has also been briefed. Attorney Phil DeLucente says while it appears all necessary entities are involved, private investigators can be helpful.
We have a situation. Very beautiful girl, for sure. Woman, sorry. I don't know what to call them anymore. Look at this. I don't know if I'd be around these people here, but I'd be somewhere on this beach where there's not a lot of people.
Situation with India, we have a situation with America, we have embassies, we have consulates, we have FBI, we have all these different agencies, and sometimes the left hand doesn't always speak to the right hand.
Yeah, I'd love to go there. I love culture. If it was Portuguese, I'd want to go even more because I love other than Lebanese food, there's nothing better than Portuguese food. I am more of a social drinker. I used to be an everything drinker. I used to be day, morning, social, non-social.
So a coordination theme might be a private investigator. I always suggest hiring former law enforcement that are private investigators.
The 5 friends Konanki.
Mr. Steve. Hire Mr. Steve.
he was traveling with have been questioned by police and are not facing any charges at this time. The resort where they were staying also issued a statement this afternoon expressing their condolences to the family and offering their support in the investigation. Reporting in Oakland, Kaylee Gunderson, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Officials with the Dominican Republic say 20.
Yeah, Cat 5s are, I mean, there is no other thing. Awesome people, Spanish is the main language. Yep. It was all part of the, what the hell treaty was that years and years ago between the Portuguese and the Spanish? They had to divide the spoils, so to speak.
20-year-old Shudiska Kunanki was last seen on security camera footage around 4:15 a.m. on March 6 before being reported missing the next day. The news reaching the University of Pittsburgh community where Kunanki is a student.
There's a big difference from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Punta Cana. I mean,
It's scary to think that like a girl goes missing and she's so young and she was just going to go on a spring break to have fun and then couldn't even enjoy her time.
Sophia Kusha says she just left the same resort Kunanki was at before she was reported missing.
Initially, I was just shocked. I couldn't stop thinking about the situation when I got the text. Because like I said, like just the moment her friends noticed she was gone and like her family receiving the news and like her experience of what could have happened and if she was a classmate of mine, I just couldn't stop thinking about all the scenarios.
Dominican officials later telling ABC News Kunanki was seen walking on a beach with 6 people on March 5th and believe she had possibly drowned in the ocean. Now, according to the police report, most of the group returned to the
Haiti was a French colony. Yeah, maybe. It's the French. The French always try to screw everything up.
the hotel, but one person stayed with the 20-year-old on the beach. It would go on to say that she and that person went for a swim and were caught by a big wave. Her family now traveling from Virginia to join the search.
And she was really happy to have.
Have a good night, Paula. That was a good one, Dirty Diana. I hope you have a good week, Paula. Everybody doesn't know Paula, go check out Paula. She's got a great site, awesome content. She's awesome. Have a safe week, Paula. Always enjoy seeing you here in the chat. Thank you, Dirty Diana. That's fantastic. That was the funniest, one of the funniest comments ever. Not just the French and Germans screw things up too. Yeah, technically the French are Germans. All right, so let's do this here.
Vacation with our friends.
And while the search continues, the situation leaving some students second guessing their future plans.
I mean, me and my friends were definitely thinking like, oh, sophomore year we'll go on like spring break, but now we're all having like second guessing for sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't second guess that at all. Put me in a suitcase. I'll go with you. Paula's amazing. Paula's an amazing person. She's got a great channel. Awesome person. You guys are awesome.
Diksha Kunanki hasn't been seen since Thursday. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Jordan Sayopa is live with the latest on the efforts to find her. Jordan.
Shandy, this is the second day of search for Diksha Kunanki. The Pitt student was on spring break in Punta Cana on the Dominican Republic when authorities say she went missing while walking on the beach. Now, new tonight, 3 Dominican officials tell ABC News she may have died by drowning after she went for a swim and was caught up in a big wave. Now, a search and rescue group on the island spent much of the day Saturday looking for her and resumed their search this morning. Posts on social media show them using boats, drones, and helicopters along the shoreline. Now, Kunanki is from Loudoun County, Virginia, and the sheriff's office there tells
So she's from Virginia. I think she was going to college at Pitt.
us she was last seen walking on a beach near a resort around 4:30 in the morning. A spokesman for the agency says they believe there were 6.
What time? Sunrise. Hold on a second. Sunrise. Hold on a second. 6:41 a.m. So March 16th. When did she go miss? She went missing a couple weeks ago, so it probably would have been a few minutes before that. So today Sunday, March 16th. So 6:41 a.m. is sunrise. So it probably gets light around 6:30. Patrick and SpongeBob, love Patrick and SpongeBob. For the week. When you get to be my age, it was the first of all the Caribbean islands to abolish slavery. I thought that was a part of Portugal, though, at one time. Portuguese or the Spanish. I was supposed to join a live tonight. I'm gonna kick Patrick ass.
Female students from Pitt.
I've always been a huge SpongeBob fan. French? Was it French? I'll have to redo that because
on the trip, but they don't know if Kanaki went missing accidentally or if foul play was involved. They tell us the FBI has been briefed on the situation, and the students' parents have traveled from Virginia to the Dominican Republic to help.
maybe keep an eye on this, though. This anything could be going on in these cases. It's actually, let me play one more. This is the latest here.
New details coming to light amid the search for the missing University of Pittsburgh student who vanished while on spring break.
So this was done a day ago. So this is probably the newest one here.
In the Dominican Republic. Sudiksha Kunaki's Venmo history revealing she made 2 payments.
She did what I did
before she disappeared. The first featuring a sailboat emoji, and then the second titled Coco Bongo, allegedly referring to a popular Punta Cana nightclub. Take a look at this surveillance video. It captures the final moment she was seen alive alongside person of interest around 5:50 a.m. March 6th. But since her disappearance, over 300 officers have been deployed. They're using canines, drones, boats, helicopters to try to find her. Now, Reeve has so far cooperated with police, who note that he has not yet been named a suspect. So I'd like to welcome in former U.S. Ambassador to the Dominican Republic, Robin Bernstein. Robin, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. What have you been told, if anything, so far about this investigation?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me today, and to let you know that our hearts really go out to the family of Miss Kanaki. This is just such a tragedy to happen to such a beautiful young woman and her friends in the Dominican Republic, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world. From what I understand from the Dominican officials, they're leaving no stone unturned to try and find the young woman. All options are on the table in the investigation, whether it be the police.
You know who I really like is Farmer. I've known Farmer for a long time. I don't know him, but I mean, I've seen Farmer everywhere. Farmer used to be on Sleuth. Used to be on Sunday's Chat. Farmer's a good guy.
Tourist police, the Minister of Tourism, private parties. I know that the United States government thankfully is also cooperating and assisting with FBI and Homeland Security. They've got boats, planes, drones.
This guy right here is a little weird. That's just my opinion. This guy here,
thankfully is also cooperating and assisting with FBI and Homeland Security.
what is this? Is that a cup? So I thought it was a phone. That's not a phone. That's a cup. He's holding a cup.
They've got boats,
I don't know what that is. Is that a cup?
planes, drones, dogs, tourist police. Everyone is out there and leaving absolutely no stone unturned to find out what happened, how it happened, when it happened, and what happened. So cooperating and assisting with FBI and Homeland Security. They've got boats, planes, drones, dogs.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Tourist police, everyone is out there and leaving absolutely.
What the hell is that? What is he holding there? Does anybody know what that is? Is that a phone? Yeah, Coach Kev is great too. Coach Kev is amazing. Coach Kev is great guy.
No stone unturned to find out what happened, how it happened.
If I don't really like somebody a lot, I just won't follow him. That's all. I mean, why waste my time? But Coach Kev is great.
When it happened and what happened.
And right now, details are continuing to trickle out. I mean, authorities are still saying as of right now, there are no signs of foul play. At this point, what stands out to you the most?
Like, I follow Rick Snay a lot. Rick Snay, I like Rick Snay. God, I can't tell what that is, Dave. You think it's a phone? That's what I thought. But that other image, it looked almost like a cup.
As you know,
or
it
something. I don't know. The guy's weird. The guy that she's walking with is really. I don't know. The guy's. He doesn't look normal.
An ongoing investigation. And a lot of times people and authorities may hold some information back, some close to the vest, to really find out who may have been there, who was there, and what happened. I know that as soon as the authorities were notified, they immediately began a whole-scale search. And to try and find out what happened. So I know that from my Dominican friends that they are.
Yeah, this is the timeline. March 6th, 4:15 a.m. Kanaki heads to the beach. That's kind of late. March 6th, 4:50. Kanaki last seen on the beach, so that's 40 minutes away. March 6th, 9:55 a.m. Man seen with Kanaki leaves beach. So this is during the day. Kanaki last seen on beach. So she was last seen at 4:50 a.m. 9:55, man seen with Kanaki leaves the beach. What was he doing for this amount of time? And then at 4 p.m., somebody reported her missing. Do we know who reported her missing? Friends, probably.
Absolutely.
This is basically all in the same day, 24 hours here.
Leaving nothing to chance, and that they are completely in cooperating, and the U.S. government has been nothing but wonderful in terms of assisting the Indian government. I think the Loudoun County Sheriff has also been helping. So I think that hopefully they will find what happened.
And what would be your advice to people traveling to Dominican Republic? I mean, considering the State Department has an advisory level right now of a level 2, which is the same as the United Kingdom.
Yes, well, my advice to any parents and to students, I have 3 daughters myself, and I would tell you to always have a wingman, always, if you're traveling with girlfriends, to make sure that, you.
So these are the, I don't think anybody's planning on going down here at any time, but these are the levels that they go by. Do not travel. If you see red, don't go there, obviously. But I'd go to any single one of these beaches. I don't really care about these precaution shit things. If I'm at a beach, Bahamas, Puerto Vallarta, any beach with white sands, I'm going. I don't care. Shoot me. I don't care.
You're just not, if you happen to meet somebody perchance, it is spring break. Kids like to have fun. Kids like to be kids. They, they like to go party. They like to, have a little good Dominican alcohol. and rum and have a good time. But I would say that it's important. Listen, nothing really good happens after 2 or 3 in the morning, so it's really important to stay with the group you're with. Let people know where you're with. I would never leave a telephone.
What is she saying to this guy here? This is strange here.
With a phone locator. All my kids, and actually we have the little, the Apple AirPods, so people.
To me, it seems like this friend is trying to get her away from this guy. Why am I thinking that?
All my kids, and actually we have the little, the Apple AirPods, so people know where we are and when we are. That to me is your best defense.
That's a cup. That's a cup right there, I think. It looks like a cup anyways. Does anybody hold a cup like that? Yeah, that's a cup, right? The bottom is here. Here's the rim. Who holds a cup like that walking?
Is to use good judgment, have a wingman, don't leave your friends, especially late at night in any foreign country, or for that matter of fact, this could have happened in Miami Beach.
Now that looks like I don't know what that is. What the fuck is that? Is that a phone?
We all know what happened in Mexico to those group of spring breakers that unfortunately met a very violent demise.
Yeah.
So I would just say use good judgment, try not to leave the resort, and stay with.
It looks like this. She's trying to get away from this guy here. It's just that's my opinion. It just seems like she's kind of a little tipsy. He's definitely drunk. I mean, he's out. But I don't know. I don't think she's 100% comfortable with this situation here.
Friends, and like I said, nothing too good can happen after 3 in the morning.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope that this will ultimately have a happy ending for her family, because we know this is every parent's worst nightmare. Former ambassador to the Dominican Republic, Robin Bernstein, thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to.
All right, one more thing here, then we'll get out of here. I do want to watch a little bit of this. Don't blame me for shit I didn't do. I have no issue correcting his errors. All right, so let's do this. I want to go here. A second here. I want to play a little of this because this came out to. Let me share this here. All right, let's play a little of this here. I want to do this. Somebody mentioned it earlier. This is exclusive new developments in the missing cases of Tyler Goodrich and Asa Degree here, and I'm pretty sure we all know what's going on. Exclusive interview with sister of Tyler Goodrich. The missing Nebraska man disappeared on November 2023 after no sign of Tyler. His remains were found less than a mile from his house. His sister spoke with Marnie Hughes in her first and exclusive television interview about what it's like finding out his body was so close to his home and what's next in the case. So let's go here. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but we'll be close.
I'm Marnie Hughes, and this is Missing. Thank you for joining us. Each week, we feature a missing persons case from across the country, no matter their race, religion, background, or circumstances. Every missing.
The way I look at it is this: I have my own people I watch. I don't mind if other people watch other people. I don't mind. I don't care. Charles is a good person. He's always been good to me. I have no problem with Charles. That doesn't mean he has to watch the same people I do. But at the same time, I like Rick. Rick, I've been watching Rick forever here. It's like almost 5 years now. Do I agree with everything everybody says? No, but that doesn't mean I don't have to. If like I said, if I don't like somebody enough, I just won't watch them. It's very simple. I remember that crazy guy, Graz. What's his name? Graz. I hate, it's just, I just don't watch people like that. Anybody like that. See, if she drowned, why wouldn't he have called someone? Like, exactly. Um,
Missing person matters. And with your help, our goal is to shine a light on cases that are not getting much attention, dig for answers, and offer support for the family and friends of the missing. Part of our mission is to keep these stories in the spotlight. So today we are bringing you major developments in two cases we have reported on here for years. First, the body of Tyler Goodrich has now been recovered less than 1,000 yards from his home. His sister Felicia will be joining us in just a moment with what we know about this case right now and this devastating news. And then the case of Aisha Degree, a bombshell warrant that could reveal what actually happened to this little.
I think this case right here, Aisha Degree, is going to be solved pretty soon. Just my opinion.
Girl. Our colleague at our News Nation station in North Carolina is also with us with some groundbreaking reporting on this case and investigation. First, a lot of news on this missing college student in the Dominican Republic, Sudiksha Kananki, on spring break with friends when.
I just don't think that ever happens. I mean, I just don't. I don't mind believing in accidents if there's, reason to believe accidents. I'm not saying there isn't an accident in that case, but even if there was an accident, why why not call unless he was passed out freaking drunk? But I don't know. I just I think in my opinion, I mean, I don't know everything about the case here, but I'm with Kimber here. I think it's kind of suspicious. I've watched that tape over and over and over again with those two people walking, and it just doesn't seem like she wants to be with that guy. That doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean anything. It's just... Oops, sorry, wrong video.
She vanished. Early reports indicating that she may have drowned. Authorities have said no signs of foul play are evident, but her family and others are pushing for police to consider every possibility, citing it is just too early to rule that out, considering the circumstances. They are suspicious. The family is concerned.
I felt the same way about the LA. The girl, a woman from Hawaii that disappeared. I thought that was foul play too, but she just decided she didn't want anything to do with her family anymore, so she just took off. I mean, these things do happen. So I don't know, but it doesn't seem especially this one here, like it almost looks like this friend here is trying to not let her go with this guy here. It's just
one possibility is that she may have been abducted. Sudiksha disappeared in the Tacana area. She is a student at the University of Pittsburgh. Police did interview a man in his 20s last seen on surveillance with her that morning, and he told investigators several different stories. One, that she was swept away in a...
The Delphi case, I am so over the Delphi case. It's not even funny. I feel bad for those two kids. I listened to the I listened to that one too. I listened to the 911 call from the Brian Koberg case, but I watched the whole, video that Libby took, and it's just, when you're in this business, unfortunately, you have to stomach yourself through these things, but it's just so horrible, just knowing their fate, it's just absolutely horrible. That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else other than that.
Wave during high tide. The other, that she left after getting out of the water. And a third version was that both went into the ocean. They started to feel sick, left the water, and she fell asleep on a lounge chair. The case is also drawing attention and parallels to this case, the disappearance of Natalee Holloway. She vanished while on spring break.
We were just talking about her. Yeah, rest in peace, Tyler Goodrich, for sure. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking. I mean, the whole, you know, that whole video, I watched it like 3 or 4 times, and that was the end of that. Just no, I'm not pro anybody. Um, there's a lot to that the Delphi case. I don't know. I have my own. I've done, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5 or 6 videos on Delphi. I'm not doing anymore. It's not happening.
With her friends in 2005, Jordan Vandersloot has admitted to killing her and extorting her family. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison in the case for extortion and wire fraud. Natalie's body was never recovered. Now to the heartbreaking update in the case of Tyler Goodrich. Tyler was 35 years old when he disappeared in November of 2023.
I will say nothing about the Delphi case. I think the Delphi case was mishandled. I think that from the day one, from the very first day, there couldn't have been a more defunct investigation ever. Other than, I have to take that back. I'm sorry. I think the John Benet Ramsey case was pretty close, probably worse. I just, but I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much, whatever in the Delphi case. The case itself, the handling of the case is just so bizarre.
After a fight with his husband. His story, featured here in our Missing series, reached millions of views. Sadly, we have now learned that Tyler's remains were found over the weekend. A man walking his dog in a wooded area discovered him less than 1,000 yards from Tyler's home. For the last 16 months, his family and friends have been scouring that area in hopes of finding him. Tyler's friends gave us the following statement, saying in part, "While we still don't know what happened, we are overwhelmed with grief, sadness, and a sense of relief that he's been found. One of our goals was to make Tyler a household name and share a glimpse of the incredible person he was with the world. He will forever be missed, our beautiful redheaded marathon running, dessert obsessed friend." An autopsy was performed on Monday, and now Tyler's family is waiting for those results. Joining me now is Tyler's sister, Felicia Nicholson. Thank you so much for being with us. My heart goes out to you and your family and friends and all impacted by Tyler and his life and now your loss. I was surprised to hear he was found so close to his home. How did that news hit you?
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things to hear, to know that we had been.
You want me to pull up his Tyler Goodrich's? Now we have to wait for autopsy. Yeah, toxicology too, probably.
So close to Tyler, 6 months. It was especially heartbreaking when you think back to how many times I've driven by him, how close we were to finding him.
And how is that possible? How did that get missed? What's your theory?
Yeah, we ask ourselves those same questions, and we had hundreds of searchers out with us those first few days and weeks that Tyler went missing. And the area where Tyler was found, a small wooded tree line that runs up against a major highway on the top of a hill. And it's an area where there are wide paths through. There's a child's fort. Talked to a neighbor that lives close by, and she shared that her son rides a 4-wheeler in those paths. So a little bit of a secluded spot, but definitely a location where people have been.
Tell me about the disappearance
in
and
the last 16 months.
The time around his disappearance. For folks at home, what was happening at that time? Can you remind us of the circumstances
of the day?
Right, the day that Tyler vanished. What happened that day?
Mm-hmm. So the evening that Tyler went missing, he stopped after work, picked up pizzas at Con, having a family movie night. He got home, and then what we understand is around 7:30 that night, he got into a verbal disagreement with his husband, and he is assumed to have left the house, and his phone was shut off at that time. And that.
All right, so I'll read this here. It sucks. Sorry, JC. Jason's awesome. She's got great channel. Awesome channel. More than a year after Tyler Goodrich stormed out of his Nebraska home following an argument with his husband, he has been found unalived, according to his family and authorities. Goodrich's remains were found in a wooded area and walking his dog less than 1,000 yards from his home. Hutchins said the area was searched in the first couple of weeks that Goodrich went missing. He also said the body had been in the same location for over a year, so they could probably tell whether he moved or not. Goodrich was 35 years old when he vanished, 2023, March 3rd, from the Lincoln, Nebraska home he shared with his husband, Marshall Vogel, and their 2 sons. Officials are treating the death as suspicious, but Hutchin emphasized the preliminary results from the investigations that led them to believe this is not a homicide. The manner of death is still unclear. But an autopsy will be conducted on Monday. No words will ease the grief of the loss of a family. I'm glad they get some closure. It's obviously that he was loved and cared for. All right, so let's go back to this here. This is awful. Did we cover this? I think we covered this a while back.
Was the last time anyone has ever seen Tyler. There has never been a camera that picked him up. There's not been cell phone activity, no social media activity, no bank activity.
Is foul play suspected, or do you think he went out for a run? What do you think happened?
He didn't go out for a run. He was upset based upon what his husband had shared. And at this point in time, we need those autopsy results back. We need local law enforcement to continue to investigate, to interview people so we understand.
Put it this way, I value everybody's opinion. It's just me.
What did happen? Now they're saying it's suspicious, and we, as a family and his friends, need more information to truly understand what happened that night.
What are the biggest questions that you have right now about your brother that you want answered first in this case as you still process the news that he's been found?
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's a saddening thing. Like the families, families always get the shit stick. The families always get the shit end of the stick, period.
Getting the call that Tyler was found was something that I hoped for every day for 16 months. And when we actually got the call on Saturday at right around 11 o'clock a.m., I was shocked, overwhelmed, a flood of emotions, a really surreal feeling. It's still settling in. It's still something we're getting used to and accepting.
We're looking at images of your brother with his family, with you over the years. Tell us about Tyler, what he means.
I will say one thing about the video of Libby. Just a side note. 6 foot 250 years. Whoever that was on the bridge was on a mission.
To you.
There was such an important person to so many people. For me, he was my oldest little brother. He was someone who always had a smile on his face. He was someone who brought energy everywhere he went. He was loud. He was funny. He was driven, and continues to be missed within our family.
We mentioned Tyler's husband, Marshall. He offered a quote to Dateline and called this an unimaginable tragedy. He was a husband, a loving father, a friend to so many. We will feel his absence, but his memory will live on. How much communication do you have with Marshall and the kids right now?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have not had contact with my son in many, many months. And that's made an already horrific situation even harder. I love those boys. My family loves those boys. We are trying to navigate the situation much as we can. It's been very difficult.
What else do you want people, Felicia, to know about your brother, the case, the investigation, and what's next?
First and foremost, our family thanks the community of supporters that have kept Tyler's story relevant over the past 16 months. We have received so much love and support, and enough. And we got that love and
All I know is that this chat is awesome. I appreciate everybody for being here.
support because of the person that Tyler was, the connections that he made in the community, the ease he had with building relationships. And that's one way that we're really working on how can we honor Tyler's legacy. And I want people to understand that this investigation is not over, that there's more information that needs to come out. We need autopsy results. We need law enforcement to continue exactly what happened that night. And as far as what's next, as we grieve and process this news, also thinking about what would Tyler want, and he would want for us to gather together to celebrate. And we are in the process of planning an opportunity for friends and family to share memories, and also for the public to join us, because there's been so many people invested in Tyler's story who have never met him. And Tyler was a special guy, and we're going to remember him in a really special way.
Felicia, thank you for spending some time with us, for sharing your memories of your brother. I know you're grieving and it takes a lot, so my heart is with you, and stay in touch as we wait to learn more about the autopsy results and ultimately answers in your case and justice for your brother.
So that's what I wanted to play there. I got one more thing to play. It's a cold case thing, and then we'll get out of here. Been at 3 hours and 30 minutes. Oh my God. Let's see here. Hold on a second. It's this one here. Okay, so let's see. This was done. Let's see. This was done 3 days ago. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office closed nearly 3-decade-old case after identifying the remains of 13-year-old Jeffrey Klugnes, who disappeared in 1996. So this is a cold case here. Let's go this here. 29 years old. 29-year cold case here.
3 decades, a family has sought answers after a murder case turned cold. Now, sadly, the results are too late for real justice. In 1996, Susan Klugnes was killed in her home, and that's when 14-year-old Jeffrey, her son, disappeared. Fox 13's AJ Janavelle is outside of the Pierce County Courthouse with how investigators unraveled a mystery that stumped detectives for decades.
Investigators tell me Martin Malcolm was always suspected in this incident. He was a local handyman, a friend in the family, and somebody with a dark past. Unfortunately, the technology was not there at the time to close this case. In 2017, mushroom pickers in East Pierce County made a morbid discovery, finding a human skull covered in moss, missing its bottom jaw.
But there wasn't a doubt for any of us who had ever worked on the case or familiar with the case that it was Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Klugnes. Missing at this point for 2 decades. He vanished on the same day his mom, Susan Klugnes, was found murdered in their home.
Very early on, they identified Malcolm Martin as the individual who
Have a great night, rest of the night, rest of the weekend, Jocelyn. You're always welcome here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mustang. Jocelyn, you're amazing. Thank you so much for, hanging out. You got a great channel too. Jocelyn does great work. Always good to have her here. No, absolutely not. I have no respect. Yeah, I'm going to be getting out of here soon too. I have no respect for anybody that towards women at all.
likely responsible for the death.
Martin Malcolm, a handyman who the Klugnes family met through their church, a man already with a deadly record. Malcolm served more than a decade behind.
Southern Gal, have a good night. Thank you very much for coming in. Southern Gal's amazing. She's got an amazing channel. She's an amazing person. If If you don't know who Southern Gal, go subscribe to Southern Gal. She's great. She does fantastic work. She's just. I want you to stay safe over there though, because it's going to get weather's going to be bad for the next couple of weeks. Let's play the rest of this, and then I'll get out of here too. Sorry, a little late tonight. There's a lot I wanted to cover.
Bars for murdering his wife, the mother of his child, as well as stabbing several of her friends. He got out of prison in 1992.
Unbelievable.
And soon befriended the Clungness family. Retired Pierce County Sheriff's Detective Sergeant Linnell Anderson worked Jeffrey Clungness's case. She tells me the evidence pointed to Malcolm as the killer, but without Jeffrey's body, there was too much out for an arrest.
Mr. Clugness knew this person had likely done this, and he still lived in the same area as him. He could be going to the store and run into the person who likely killed his wife and child.
3.5 years after the discovery of the skull, science confirmed the remains were Jeffrey's. But these answers came heartbreakingly too late for closure.
It was COVID, and Mr. Clungness had been admitted to the hospital, and he died the same night we learned that it was Jeffrey. We were unable to tell him. The hospital wouldn't let us go in.
Anderson tells me Jeffrey's father never gave up.
He had been searching that entire time. He was going up to the bus stops in Seattle. He was still handing out flyers. He was still working and operating and living every day with a little bit of hope that his son was alive somewhere.
Unfortunately for the investigation, the suspected killer also died before the DNA on the skull came back.
It was frustrating not to be able to make that arrest.
Despite the
Thank you, Miranda. You're awesome too, Miranda.
this outcome, Anderson tells me
It's personal. It
solving this case is vital.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking. This is one of those heartbreaking things. You know, there's no, even if it takes 29 years to solve a case, I'm sure it can't be well for the family at all.
It's personal.
Officials with the prosecutor's office here behind me tell me if Martin Malcolm was still alive, they would file charges in this case. Reporting.
Unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. But anyways, I wanted to play that. I'll get out of here now. I just want to thank everybody for coming in. These are the things that keep me up at night. It's just amazing. Yep, got away with it. Sucks. But I do want to thank everybody for coming in. Thank you, Dirty Diana. You're awesome. I appreciate you being in here. Mustang 1965 or Mustang 65. Miranda, thank you so much. And I hope you're well. Heather Brown, let us know what's going on. Appreciate Heather Brown. Always here. She's just awesome. Thank you so much, Heather. Necessarily Evil, you're always welcome here. Awesome guy. I just said but who else? Heather Brown, I said that. Southern Gal, you're awesome. Thank you so much, Southern Gal. Make sure to check out Southern Gal's new to doing Missing on Monday. Jocelyn, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Jocelyn's great. Everybody's great in here. I'm not going to have time, obviously, to say hi to everybody, but I know JCN was in here. JCN's got a great channel. Paula Fitzhenry's got a great channel. I know Honeybee was in here. She's awesome. Honeybee's just amazing. I know that who else was in here? Kimber was in here. Thank you, Kimber, for showing up. I know Arctic was in here. Arctic Fox True Crime was in here. Let's see here. Arctic Fox is awesome. Let's see. Michelle C was in here. Thank you, Michelle C. So much for coming in. Always good to have you here. All right. Who else? Charles, thank you so much. Charles is awesome. Mino Dino was in here. Mino Dino's great. Hope he's doing well. Hope they don't have to chop his hand off. Let's see here. Who else was in here? Didn't see Gail tonight. Hope Gail's okay. Miranda Lee was in here. Karen Lee was in here. Karen Lee's awesome. Karen Lee's amazing. She's probably over on Manimal's channel right now. And that's it. I can't scroll up anymore. Thank you for everybody that watches on the replay. I really appreciate that. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Sorry for taking up too much of your time tonight. Well, let me play my outro and I'll get out of here. Everybody, don't die and have a great, great, great week and night. Stay safe. Gail's fine. Okay. Thank you. I didn't see Charlotte in here either. I hope she's okay. What am I doing? I'll see you guys later. Have a safe week.